Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Scoopalings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack Podcast, episode 373, Nintendo Finances and Switch 2 Updates. Delvin's back, and Donnie's here with me, as he is every week. How are you guys doing today? Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to Rebecca's mom.
Apparently Nintendo announced in the Nintendo Today app that you can navigate the home screen of the Switch using mouse mode.
They should have announced
Let's
Mother
see if
3
it's on
today.
mine. Right? They
announced.
should.
Here's Mother.
You can just
Happy
zip
Mother's Day.
around the operating system.
Donnie, mine's like yours is, and every time I open it, it's like not what anyone else
I'm getting
is.
this from
I'm getting mouse controls.
I'm getting this from Universo Nintendo.
Who? That sounds made up.
It's not. That's Necro Felipe. He's done
That also sounds made up.
a
Oh,
lot of
if you click mouse controls on the home menu, you get a little video of the home
Yeah.
menu.
and it should
Or
show like
Literally looks like you're using a mouse, and there's like a little cursor.
can you like see the bottom of the video? Apparently the bottom of the video is like a hand moving the mouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying
That's
to.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Rebecca, I think you said that. I think at some point, and it's just jogging my memory. I think at some point you were like, "Can we scroll around the the OS with a mouse?" And I was like, "What? Why would you do that?"
She did
And
say that.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
have no recollection of saying that, but I believe you.
Rebecca's the smart one.
that is correct.
Yes.
I believe I am about to cop to some hyperbolic crow eating.
It looks like you
episode.
can also switch you're doing the mouse, and then you can just switch right over. Like you just pick it up, and then you can also use the buttons.
It's pretty cool.
You don't have to
Pretty cool.
change any like.
You remember that
modes
website
or-
I showed you last week, the portal with all your game cards, you can see your system and stuff?
Yes.
I saw a YouTuber that was showing that off. He took his Joy-Cons off, put new Joy-Cons on, and the system, the back end updated with the new color Joy-Cons he added to his Switch. So like it
On the
knows-
website.
On the website. So like
Neat.
the portal knows what Joy-Con colors you're using.
I guess for
That's
your
cool.
primary switch, right?
It's for either one of those that are linked.
Oh,
link
yeah. I
two.
still haven't done that yet.
You got to get on that, Rebecca,
I know that was my homework for this week, and I didn't do it.
before
That's
Josh
fine.
links with someone else.
Whoa.
Are you gonna link with someone else? I think he has earbuds in.
Just says, well,
Josh!
Giant Bomb
Oh,
buy
God,
out
is there a spider?
PSVG. We are for sale.
Look here.
I think there
I'm
was a
about to put
spider.
my bid in right before Giant Bomb does, baby.
$1.
$1.
PSVG should stay independent.
Yes.
Independent media.
PSV me.
You know, what is with the craze of that all of a sudden?
What, independent media?
Yeah, that's been like a thing for like 2 weeks on Blue Sky. Everybody's going on.
Well, it's
and
been
on
a
and on
thing.
about
Good, it
independent
should
media.
be.
It's been a thing for several years, Donnie. I don't think you've been paying attention to these last several years.
Well, I mean, I don't mean like in a political space. I mean like
In general, yeah, it
like
has
for
been a
video
thing.
games. Why does everyone care so much?
What do you
Because the
mean? Why
norm-
does everyone care so much? Because it should be independent. That's exactly what happened to my site, Twinfinite, that I worked for. We were independent, and then we were bought up by gamers, and then they
Struck a
fired all of
chord.
the great people and
Fucked
put
up,
all
Donnie.
these
You done
rules.
fucked
and they
up,
changed-
Aaron.
You don't want
understand-
mega corporations to
Rebecca,
own
I
everything.
understand
You want
that.
them to be independent.
Right, but how? I don't even know if I want to do this.
I'll bring it up. I think this actually started years ago with Kind of Funny. Be honest.
How viable? How viable is, like I don't know, like I guess media, you can call it media, you can call it video content and stuff. How viable is an outlet like that in 2025 when anybody can just start a YouTube channel and a podcast and write a blog?
Well, yeah,
I
of
think-
course, and I think that's the difference. And I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, Delvin. The difference
No, you-
between like a small mom and pop independently owned store and a corporation, like your local game store own, Pink Gorilla over in Seattle versus GameStop. It's like, okay, GameStop's pulling in a lot more money. They have a lot more resources to work with.
I understand the pushback against the corporate push for profit margins that have exiled some of our favorite gaming brands. I get that, Game Informer, stuff like that. But there's still. I would also look at like GameSpot. They've had like a lot of cuts back in the time. You still have like IGN doing IGN's thing. They haven't lost a whole lot of people. I don't particularly like listen or watch IGN, but like I don't necessarily look at IGN as like they're awful or something. Like they're kind of doing what they've always done. Like, is it all that bad?
I think it's just different. I think people are getting to the point, much like with YouTube and everything else, they want to follow the creators they like now.
Correctly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm with you there.
I think that's more so than anything.
To be clear, make sure I'm not coming off incorrectly. I'm not arguing against it, right? Like it's like, to me, I'm almost like, okay, like since Giant Bomb, shout out to Jeff, by the way. If anybody doesn't know, Jeff has been working at Giant Bomb for a while. They just got bought out. They went through some things, and then Jeff and the crew just announced last night that they have somehow purchased Giant Bomb. They are now the owners of Giant Bomb, so they are independent.
Well, fandom laid them all off.
And that's where I was going to get to.
Laid off? I don't think it was laid off, or at least that wasn't my understanding of it.
They were no longer with the company.
Okay. Well,
and that's what I was getting to.
What I understood was
they have the power these corporations have the power to lay off and change staff and implement things that are not.
The only point I was making is all of those people could literally do the exact same thing just under a different name, and I'm fine with that too. Like that's what I mean, kind of like in different. Like I'm here to follow good people that are doing it. Like I'm here, like I've always said, I'm here. I'll sub for Grub, wherever that is, right?
But they need to make it. They have to have a name for themselves already. There's millions of gaming YouTube channels out there, and 99% of them will never get anywhere.
And that's kind of the point I was making, is like how important. Like I don't need I'm not gonna like make like a like a declaration that I only follow independent media or something. Like I've been seeing a lot of that lately. And it's like, I don't know. I want to follow people about video games. Like I'm not that invested.
I think you follow things like IGN. Your favorite writers at IGN could be fired tomorrow, and you might not know the difference. But if you are following people that like you also are, follow Jeff Grubb in this, alternate timeline where they didn't buy Giant Bomb out from fandom, you might not continue listening, to Giant Bomb and consuming their content. Because you follow Jeff Grubb's content. And it is a lot harder, as Yarden's saying, to, follow that many independent, that they're placed, asking for $10 a month here or $5 a month there. That's how they stay afloat financially. Like it is harder for a independently owned mom and pop type shop to stay afloat when you got things like Amazon and Target and all those things. Yeah,
I think it's that. It's a numerous amount of things. I think more people are more willing to follow independent media in general in our society. Then you add to the fact that there are when you have corporations, there are certain things these corporations don't want you to talk about that these independent media articles do talk about. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of means something to certain people, whether it's positive or negative. Like PSVG, for all circumstances, independent media. And people like to hear Donnie's voice.
I don't even count us amongst them. Like I wouldn't even.
But we are.
But we are
friends with a podcast. We're not media. There's a difference. There is a difference.
But it is media
somewhere.
It is media, though.
It's kind of what they do. When you sit there and you break down the news for an hour, that is kind of what
media.
They do. This is media.
I still think we agree. I definitely think there's a difference. You have to draw a line somewhere. We are people with a YouTube channel. Anybody like that?
Yes, that's all media.
That is media now. Unfortunately, I get what you're saying, Donnie, but that is how media is now. A lot of these chuckle fucks just have a YouTube channel.
So the main means of mass communication, broadcasting, publishing, and the internet regarded collectively. We're broadcasting.
I get what Donnie's saying. I agree with what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I did not care
He
to
did-
open this can of worms.
You opened
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know I did, and like we can like
See?
to be honest with you, I just wanted to shout out Sean Capri, who started the Super Indie Podcast Network like years ago. He was way
That's
ahead of the
media.
curve.
Yes.
But there's a difference between people that have ad revenue, that are covering, events, venues, they're doing investigative journalism and stuff. That's a media. We are literally just talking about video games.
And the
It's all
news.
media.
Okay.
I think
You
there's-
can call them investigative media.
I will
accept
say
that.
there's levels to it.
I will
We're
accept
not
that.
like we're not the
We're not
investigative news
investigative
type.
media.
Yeah, we're just like
We're
the
talk
low
media.
levels.
Yeah.
We're more like the Dan Lebertards of podcasting.
I mean, I
as
think there's
opposed
a,
to-
I think the obvious line of demarcation is I'm not trying to make a living doing this. Right?
Correct.
Like, that's not my end goal. I've somewhat infamously attempted to push back at that very hard
Yes.
here because I don't
Yes.
want to get into those sorts of things. So I think that's a huge difference, right? There's a huge difference. Like,
that is different. Yeah, that
you
is
know,
different.
we can call independence
Hobby
like
media.
being able to do whatever you want to do, but like those guys have to put food on the table.
Correct.
They're going to cover what puts food on the table, like especially when independent, because now the onus is on them to do it. You can't just lay the blame at the shadowy corporate overlord. And now they're it. The buck rests with them.
Well, that makes us truly independent because we say whatever the
So-
fuck we want to say.
Yeah, and I like that. Like, even though, Dev was, I don't think Dev cares, but there
No,
was
he
some
doesn't.
talk when we went over about turning on, like the YouTube monetization stuff, and I've always pushed back against that because you can get strict for music, for copyright and stuff, and I kind of like that we just do whatever we want to do.
Yes.
I don't want to be wading in those waters. This
Donnie
is a
likes the
hobby.
freedom.
It's a hobby for me.
Yes.
And I don't want to lose sight of that. Like we did for a moment, and I didn't like it. So like I push hard. I push hard against that.
Yes. Donnie likes the freedom of doing what we do. I think that's good. And also, I think Donnie likes the fact that at any point in time, it was like, you know what? It's time to shut it down, baby.
You always reserve that right, but I think
Yeah.
it's very. I think we're very friendly and honest. Like we're very open with people, right? Like
Yes.
I want our show to sound like people talking with their friends at
We
the
are.
arcade or at recess or at the lunch table, right? Like that's what we're doing.
Yes, 'cause
we're
we
not
like each other.
peddling for give us $5. Can we push subscribers? Ring the bell. Like we don't do that shit. I like that
Yeah.
here. I like that.
And I see exactly what you're saying. I think it doesn't change the fact that it is media.
Yeah,
if we're
I-
doing
I
it
let
for a
go of that.
hobby.
I let go of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll accept that.
Because you
I
call
was
social
wrong.
media
I
like
was wrong.
things like Twitter, you're not making any money off of it. You're posting your thoughts. It's still a type of media. It's anything that information can flow.
Sure. Yeah. I get it on a definition level. I understand.
Yeah.
Very listen.
But yeah, I like
bearing
what
the
we are
lead
too.
Again, very happy for Jeff and Mike, friends of our show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
Friends of mine. Was so excited. It was
Well, Jeff
hilarious.
is.
Rebecca was the one that shared the news with me.
I was watching their PAX panel online. They were
Because-
broadcasting it.
I was playing a game, listening to the Bombcast. It was on YouTube, on the TV. I was listening to them talk about the game that I was playing.
Ah,
And then you were like, "Did you see the news?" And I was like, "What news?" Now, I knew that they had already started I don't even know if I can share this.
Probably not. Don't do it.
Probably
Don't
not.
do it.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, probably
I
not.
knew there were some things going on in the background, and I don't know what those things will come out of now. Maybe nothing now. So I knew there was something coming. Didn't see this coming. Didn't have any idea that this would be.
this they said this was within the past 48 hours.
I definitely believe it because I know some other things were potentially about to happen.
Yeah.
So I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, because they had a Giant Bomb panel at PAX East already lined up, ready to go, saying, "Oh my God, do we
It's
do
pretty
this
incredible.
panel? Like, what do we
It's
do?"
pretty incredible.
And
I would
then-
love
yeah.
to know. I mean, I think anybody that's followed the gaming at a level of keeping up with outlets and the personalities that come and go through there, I would love to know the backstory behind that. I don't know if we ever will, but I would love to know the details. Obviously, you'd think I can't be the only one that's like wondering like how much does something like that cost? Like how do you do that? Is there like an investor? Like I have no idea. It don't really matter. It's more of just a curiosity. Like I don't really care. Like I said, I'd sub for Grub, whatever. Like Jeff said he was going to bet on himself, and I was like, I'm here to support whatever that is. You know,
Because
like,
he's
so,
amassed a
whatever.
following, people who care about him, who will follow him
Correct.
wherever he goes.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
it just so
that's
it's
really
just-
the point I was making earlier.
Yes.
It's like it doesn't really matter if Jeff went to IGN, guess what? I'd watch a lot more IGN.
Right. But
That's
I
all
think
the
there's
point I
also
was trying
there's
to
a
make.
huge following of Giant Bomb fans who predate Jeff joining them.
Oh, Jeff Gerstmann.
Like,
I mean, I have been a
he
Giant
is
Bomb.
so new to Giant
Yeah, no,
Bomb.
I've been a Giant Bomb thing for a decade.
You know,
So-
and those are the people I saw, you know, on their forums, like, this is the end of Giant Bomb. You know, they got rid of all of our favorites. Like, it's never going to be the same. This is the end. And, you know, going independent really, really is saving
Jeff
them.
says maybe we can see Rebecca, Delvin, Donnie, or Dev collaboration with Giant Bomb.
Listen, I'm just putting this into the universe. I don't care to be any of the. I know they do a lot, mostly video talent, but I am open to word talent and writing talent. If they ever need a writer, I'm
I
open
think
to
they'd
that.
love to have you, to be honest with you.
Um,
I've done it before. Jeff's had me on once. I don't know if he'll ever bring me back. But I absolutely could see Rebecca doing it. I know Delvin would love Delvin. Delvin will podcast with literally anyone, and he does routinely if you don't listen to his other shows.
Yes, I'm on
So
1,000
I don't think
podcasts.
Delvin's in any position to turn down a podcast. If you would like Delvin to be on your podcast, let's take this as a like as a shot. Just reach out to Delvin and ask him. He'll probably join your podcast.
I just
Pretty
love
much, yeah.
writing.
I'm pretty open.
I will not.
I would love to
Donnie
write,
will not.
write for someone again.
I'm one of Donnie's best friends, and I can't get him on my goddamn podcast. that tells you everything you need to know.
I haven't guessed it in a long time. I just do
Yes.
training podcasts. So anyway, shout out to those guys and all of
Yeah,
their
that's awesome.
success. I wish them. I renewed my subscription last night, and I look forward to hopefully, like I look forward to updates on what their plans are. I know they have a lot of. They're still a small team, so I hope they don't overextend themselves. But I trust Jeff and Mike. Mike's very good at like reining things in and organizing things.
I
so
love Mike.
That's great.
I won't go that far. Me and Mike have bitter disagreements, but yeah, he's a great guy, good friend.
So yeah, and it's good timing too, going into the new console space atmosphere.
Oh, I like that. Jess says, yes, this feels like people at GameStop just talking. I like that.
Exactly.
That's the vibe you want, and that's kind of the
what I've
vibe of
always
where it
wanted.
all started too.
Correct.
Yeah, literally.
Correct. And I thought at one point in our history, I thought I kind of lost sight of that a little bit, jumping on that wagon and doing all that. I didn't like that. So anyway, get back to the show. Games.
Games.
I'm tired.
What you playing?
I'm
Again?
not
It's been like
playing.
a month for you, man.
It has literally been a month for me.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
it's been
Get
a-
with it. What's going on? How do we got to get you out of this?
So let me tell you what happened this week. My girlfriend, right? Her daughter's prom was yesterday. So for some reason or another,
Hang on. This is what I expect like prom to be like at the end of the year for some reason. My daughter's
Yes.
prom was like in March. I was like, what
Yes.
the hell?
and
It's like a long time ago.
yes, and it's a goddamn nightmare.
Why?
Like one of the things that they want to do for her prom was rent a car, and I had to go pick up the car. Can you
was
guess
it
what
like a
kind of car?
limo?
No. They don't do that anymore.
What?
Like, that's out of style. You
What?
can't go to a prom in a limo anymore.
What?
You gotta go like a boss.
How is that not in a limo?
No. Donnie, I had to go pick up a Corvette.
My daughter legit asked me if I would take her in the Roadrunner, but it's like all the way in the city, like 60
Yeah,
miles.
you're not
No.
You're not driving
Not-
that there.
Not at night, not on the highway. Listen,
No.
I know you guys aren't familiar with Atlanta. Not in Atlanta.
Atlanta's horrible.
I'm not getting mugged for my car.
Yes, Atlanta's horrible.
Absolutely not.
Yes, that is a factual thing that would probably happen.
Nick
Yeah, I
says
had to
it's
go
so
pick up
90s. Apparently,
A
the limo.
2024 Corvette.
Wow.
And before I got here, before we started recording, I had literally just dropped it back off.
Did she have a date?
No.
I was gonna say because you can't fit much in a.
You can only fit one other
Corvette.
person in the Corvette, so I had to go
Right.
pick it up
Aw.
Saturday. And her mom drove her to the prom in the Corvette, and then she brought me the Corvette back today, so I can take it to the Turo spot and drop it back off.
Nice. Did you enjoy
Wow.
driving it?
For the brief period of time I drove it, yes.
Did you get loose with it, or you were like, this costs a lot of money? Let's be very careful.
I got a little loose on the expressway, but then of course because this is Miami, the expressway immediately was backed up.
Oh,
So about a good 2 or 3 minutes, I was hauling ass. They're like, "Oh fuck,
Nice.
here we go."
yeah. The new Vets are basically like Ferraris. They have been for a few years now. They're crazy.
Yeah, they are crazy, and I had to explain to her that hey, the trunk is in the front.
Yeah.
The trunk is in the front seat. Like this is a very different car to drive.
It's a
Please don't
rear-engine
fuck
car.
this up
Needs
because
the-
I will go bankrupt.
Needs the weight.
Yes.
I bought my wife a car 10 years ago at this junk used car lot, and I was haggling with him on the price, and I couldn't get to the price that I wanted to. He was just putting up a wall. So I did negotiate. I was like, all right, I'll give you this amount of money for the car on the condition that you let me take the Porsche out for a day. Because they had this 911
Wow.
Carrera sitting there that had like 200,000 miles on it. It had been used and put away. And me and my buddy went out, and I got a little loose at it. Did like this big ass like fishtail, like 180 curve, like video game turn through there at like 90 miles an hour, screeching tires.
That
My
is
friend
dope.
was like, "I've never been that scared my entire life." He's like, "I thought you were
That's
about
awesome.
to flip us." That's
I'm
cool.
not about any of that.
I just posted the Corvette in the Nintendo Shack, so y'all can check out the picture of it.
Ooh,
Oh, look at.
It's a Stingray.
nice. It's killer, dude. Well, at least that's fun. You are like, I'm tired. Bruh." You had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
for
was
the
kind of
brief-
a treat for you.
Yeah.
For the brief period of time I had the car. Yes, I had fun with it. I was just
Did you cruise South Beach? You're like, hey, girl.
nah, couldn't do that.
Nothing?
My girl looked at me like, "You bet not."
She knew. She knew better.
When I was getting ready to take it back, she's like, "Look." She looked when I was getting ready to take it back. She's like, "Look,
Listen here.
I know people are gonna come towards you when they see you in this car. Go take this car directly
Back
where it needs to be
immediately.
at."
I've got live 360 on your ass. I better see you drive to that location and back and not another stop on the way. That's amazing.
Like,
That's
yeah,
funny.
the car will be going back where it needs to be at.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I rented it with Turo. Wasn't too expensive. You know, it wasn't too expensive for what it was. You know, considering what it was, you didn't have to leave no deposit or anything like that. So it came out, everything worked out. Seemed like,
That is pretty nice.
Nice.
and she had a great prom apparently.
Great.
She had one of those proms. She was like a bridezilla and shit. I'm like, yo, shut up. This is the prom. Like, calm down.
What
I-
color was her dress?
Red, like the Corvette.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. That is good.
Originally, she was
Match.
like, I want a Maybach. I'm like, I do too. Good luck with that shit. Like, tell you what you're not getting, a Maybach.
Wow.
My daughter
Times have changed.
was put in charge of her own ride. She was to get with a group. We were going to pay like her part of the share.
Hmm.
And like she's done multiple times this year, she waited too long and all of her options dried up.
That's what they do.
So
What a
she
life
went,
lesson.
she went as a third party with her friend and her friend's date in his pickup truck.
Oh, I respect it.
She was the third wheel in the back seat of the pickup truck.
It's
was
just
like-
to get to prom, and then
I
it's
was
like
like,
last
hey.
2 seconds, and then
We told you what to do months
but-
ago. You didn't
but-
do it.
These kids like to do it for the gram, Rebecca, as I shall say. They have to like go out all out and
Facts.
show everybody what they got. And
Facts.
I think I blame that show, My Super Sweet 16, for this shit.
I don't blame the show. You blame it's just that's not
That too.
no. It's society. Right?
Well,
Like that's
society
a very like millennial, like okay dad, like take that I've always had is like we did all this stuff for like fun. It wasn't content, right? And we
Yeah.
started calling everything content again. as we go back to our media thing. That
Yes.
changed everything, right? We used to do the MySpace 8 because it was fun. And we told up the profile just because we didn't call it content. We called it
Correct.
taking pictures with our friends.
Correct.
Now it is content.
Photo dumps on Facebook.
Everything is everything has to be talked and grammed and right.
And it has to be perfect.
You got to get the likes. You got to get the follows. Yeah, I
don't care
I
about
kind
that
of hate
stuff.
it, but
I do too.
But I understand it. Like I hate it, but that's just because I grew up in a different time. That's okay.
Yeah, that's the thing now.
Yeah, that's
the
the thing
likes,
now.
the grams. all
It's a
that
part
stuff.
of life. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing I had to come to realize. Is that it's for a younger person. Like that's literally life. You date through apps. Like everything is like it's your, it's like your first impression, like your social profile. Like it's important to your life.
Mm-hmm.
The dress cost $2,200.
I believe it.
Not in a million years would I have done anything.
I believe
like
it.
I said, I told, I pulled her to the side. Like, have you lost your fucking mind? This is not a wedding.
You're a better.
Yo.
You're a better dad than I am. I think we gave Victoria a budget of like I want to say like $300.
Oh, I didn't pay for that dress. I said
Like
absolutely.
$300 or $400.
I said absolutely not.
If she's
Like,
picking a $2,200 prom dress, wedding dress will be 4 or 5 times that.
well, I guess she's not getting married.
Absolutely not.
I guess she's not getting married.
Not
I
a
guess,
chance.
I guess me and her mom will be broken up by then.
I'm not taking out a loan on a dress. That's crazy. That's
that is not
insane.
happening.
That is just poor financial management.
I-
Like, that's just
I was
really bad.
asking all the questions. Like, where's her man at? Like, doesn't the parents of the boyfriend usually pay for this shit?
That's hilarious. That's really good.
What happened to them days? Like, she'd have the boyfriend. Like, what you mean? Go find one. Go get any one of them. They're out there. They're not hard to find.
John says there's so many Mario Karts.
Yeah,
There's a lot of Mario Karts.
yeah.
Goodness. It'd be a whole damn Switch generation of games
Yeah, you can buy.
for one night.
You can buy like 2 PS5 Pros.
Because like Rebecca, why don't girls wear the same dress twice? Why can't that? Why is that? Like, why can't that happen?
Well, there's only one prom. You're not gonna wear your prom dress again. For other I wear the
Yeah,
same.
you could wear
I've
it
worn
to,
the
like, a
same dress
wedding
to
or
multiple
something. A
weddings.
wedding?
I've
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah, you could wear a prom dress to like a wedding or something.
I've
or
done.
a gala
I've done
or
that.
something.
I told her, after this prom's over, you better sell that goddamn dress.
My best friend in high school gave me her bat mitzvah dress because she grew out of it, and it still fit me, and I wore it to like people's sweet 16s and like a wedding.
Nice.
Her
That's
bat
great.
mitzvah dress.
Yeah, my daughter is like, under no circumstance can I wear the same dress twice. I'm like, what?
Because for them, I think
these
because it
arbitrary
appears in
rules come from?
pictures, and then they, to them it's, because it's going to appear in all these pictures. I don't care. Like it's nobody's. I'm not putting it anywhere where people are going to see it next to each
I
other.
think it's like this idea that you're gonna show up and somebody's gonna be like, nice. I remember that one from last year. Like I don't.
Nobody's
No.
going to remember.
Nobody
Nobody cares
cares.
that much about you.
Nobody's paying that much attention.
Not even.
You're
a
the
little.
only one that cares that much about yourself. Like
Yeah.
nobody else cares.
Yeah.
They hired a photographer and everything, man. I was like,
Oh yeah, the photographer is important.
yeah, like this.
Well, yeah, that I feel like I would splurge on. Like
I was
the
like,
dress.
Yeah, I was
You
like,
can
we
get a
should
lot
just
of nice dresses for less.
take the pictures ourselves, and then Victoria's graduation invites came out, and I was like, no, those look legit. Like that's
Yeah.
a lot better than anything we would have done. So
Or even like a photography student or someone like who isn't going to charge as much.
it
like,
wasn't that much. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
that much. But her graduation invites they look professional. You
Yeah.
know, they look-
and I imagine I'm going to do the same thing next year. Fuck. Yeah, I got to do this again next year.
Wait, is she not a senior?
My daughter, my youngest.
Oh, for your
Daughter.
daughter. Yeah, okay.
For
okay,
my
okay.
daughter.
Yes, you will have to do it
I
again next year.
I do actually more for her.
Yeah,
And
is
then-
dress rental not a thing? Can you not just rent them?
You can. You
Oh,
can.
okay, that makes
They
sense.
don't want to do that. Can't rent a dress for the gram.
A lot
Why
of
not?
people also sell them on like Facebook Marketplace after
If
they're
you're gonna
done.
sell them, why not rent them? Like, what would it matter?
Yeah.
I agree.
Because
If
then you're the
buying and
first
selling,
person to
you
wear
are
it.
renting.
I agree. Well, this is not my logic. I'm like, can you just go to a thrift store and get this motherfucker? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, this
They don't-
is not.
If they're
This is
not
not the
paying
peak of
for
your
it,
life.
they don't think about that or care about that. Once they start having to pay for it themselves, then their standards get a lot lower.
I gotta tell you,
Facts.
I don't remember one goddamn thing about my prom.
I didn't go to my prom.
I went. I was like, all right, this was cool.
I went. I didn't want to go. I begged and pleaded. I tried to give Melissa the world to not go. I was like, listen, let's just go out on the town. We'll get a room. We'll go, we'll do our own thing. But she was hell bent on going.
You know what? I did do that. I went to the prom. The prom was whack. And then I took my date to South Beach. That's what we did. I said, this is
That's what I was trying. I was like, let's
go to
do
South
anything
Beach.
you want. We could go to the theater. We could go to a concert. Let's just find something. But no,
Yeah.
she wanted to go to prom, so we went to prom.
And that was our first time on South Beach. And that was a blast.
For
Because it
my
was South Beach.
sophomore or junior prom, we skipped it and we went to Nifty 50s or something. We still dressed up and we went out somewhere and took
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
what I was
pictures. And
kind
it was
of-
a lot more fun. And then people told me that that I would regret not going to my senior prom, and I am in my 30s and I am so glad I did not go to my senior prom.
I agree. That's how you do it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Honestly,
peak in high school.
I probably had more fun than I expected to. It wasn't bad or anything. I don't overly I remember going, but it's not something I look back on fondly or anything. I
Yeah.
don't really care, but
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that I went. It was fine.
Yeah.
They just had a class reunion thing for my class. They were like, "You're going?" Like, nah, I don't need to go. Like, why not? 'Cause, I don't care.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was.
I
I
don't
was
care
working and
anymore.
stuff, and I was like, and I'm not much of a dancer either.
Yeah.
I don't like dancing, so
I haven't talked to you people in 10, 15 years. Well, I'm going to start now. I don't care.
Right.
Care.
Yeah.
Don't really care.
all right. So no video games then.
I'm in my book era.
Oh,
I went to Barnes and Noble because they had a Barnes and Noble night. Sorry, Delvin, were you done?
no.
you
I
wanna
want to hear
say
about this Barnes Noble.
something?
I love books.
Barnes and Noble night at my school, and I signed up to read, because students were going to be there. And so I read, and then I accidentally spent $100 at Barnes and Noble afterwards.
That wasn't an accident.
Yeah, I got
Not even a little bit.
here. I got 4 books. I got
Victoria loves Barnes and Noble.
Before the Coffee Gets Cold.
Okay.
It's a time travel thing where you get to go back in time, but it only lasts as long as the coffee stays hot. Once the coffee cools, then you have to come back.
So what if you have one of those little metal mugs that stays hot for 24 hours?
Maybe they'll address that in the book, Delvin. I'll let you know.
All right, let me
You
know.
have to get the book, figure it out yourself.
Everyone in this room will someday be dead.
Facts.
That's a book I want to read.
Yeah, it's like a humorous type of situation where this girl, she's a lesbian atheist, and she gets a job at a church, at a Catholic church.
John 32. We should do a nerd prom with video games.
We should.
That's a good
I
idea.
like it.
How to manifest, bring your goals into alignment with the alchemy of the universe. I'm trying to manifest ill will on somebody that has wronged me. So I
You're
bought
trying to
this.
become a Full Metal Alchemist, I see.
I
respect
So
it.
we can get you into witch talk.
I'm there.
Yeah.
The comfy,
now
cozy
we're
witch's
talking.
guide to making magic in your everyday life.
Look here.
I'm on witch
So-
talk. Melissa knows I like witchy women, and so does Victoria. So I've started getting her
Well,
books and crystals and
listen,
shit. Now
Donnie,
her
it's-
grandparents are getting mad
it's
because they're
work-
Catholic.
Yeah.
it's working on me. We went to a store yesterday and I got a crystal. This is serpentine.
Yeah.
So
I have one of those.
now I'm getting crystals. I ordered an oracle deck on Etsy.
Dude, I love a witchy woman. That
Yeah.
sexy
You and me
self.
both.
So
Anytime a woman
hey,
starts fucking boiling shit and starts doing spells above doors and shit, I'm like, I'm
yeah,
all in. I'm all in.
Yeah. You and me both.
I'm all in for that sort of crazy.
yeah. So that's
It's
where I'm
entertaining.
headed. That's my new aesthetic.
It's fun. They're generally great in bed, I think. Past experience, it's good
I
stuff.
can't answer that question. She
No?
may be
Well,
watching.
I'll start
She may
hanging
be
out.
watching.
I'll start hanging out with Melissa,
Oh.
and I'll try to influence her.
Yeah, it would help. She's never been much into it. She did a little bit.
Yeah. So that's the era that I'm in right now.
Am I the only one playing video games?
Yeah.
Probably.
That's crazy because I feel like I haven't been playing video games for months.
I'm off of video games until June 5th.
But I have been playing video games.
I bought Doom.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bought it.
instead of Game
Just waiting
Pass,
Nah, you don't have Xbox no more. I threw that shit in the trash.
PC.
Nah, I
I
rather
thought you
own
had a
Doom.
laptop or something. No.
I'm not playing that on my laptop. No, I want to
Okay.
play it on PS5, baby.
Well, spoiler. Like it's fine on PS5. It's not any better than it is on Xbox. Like,
Yeah, I don't like that whole. I don't like that whole thing they're doing now with that. Like, oh, it's pretty much the same. Nah, make it better.
yeah, I mean, I only reporting off what Digital Foundry said, but Digital Foundry said that the Xbox version is better than the PlayStation 5 Pro version.
Because that's the same thing that happened with Indiana Jones. They're like, oh, it's
Wow.
about the same.
That's pretty crazy.
Just make it a little better. Stop shortchanging this Xbox.
Hey, they told you, Xbox tax. You're paying it.
Just-
You like the tariffs.
yeah,
Who pays for the tariffs? PlayStation players pay for the tariffs, not the Xbox players.
we're not going to make it better. We're just going to make it about the same.
I've played new games on Switch this week.
Tell us.
I stopped playing Mario 64. I just honestly, it's not that I stopped playing. I didn't have enough time. Busy week at work, which I talked about on PSVG, so I won't talk about it
Yes.
here. But in the last couple of days, is really just Sean influencing me. I jumped on a stream with Sean. I normally do when I see him online. I hop into his chat and hang out with him. And Ryan was there. And Ryan is always very influential to me. And he asked me if I was playing the 100 line. Have you guys heard about that?
I have. I want to
Yeah?
try that one.
So this would
I've
be
heard
a
about it, yeah.
Jace special. The
Heard it's
100
good.
line Last Defense Academy. So when I say Jace special, somebody doesn't know. Jace plays games over on Blue Sky. He's a long friend of ours, dating back to
Correct.
Mayor to the Games. We've known Jace for probably, I don't know, over 10 years at this point. He always
much.
loves these sorts of games. He's Japan anime, visual novels. He's really into Danganronpa. He has a following for that. So he's been talking about this game a lot. And for whatever reason on the stream, they started talking about it. And I was like, that's cool. You know, I've never really, when I hear Danganronpa and stuff, I just kind of like tune out. It's not something I really pay attention to.
Yeah.
And then Ryan said the magical words. He said, Donnie, it's like
Golf.
Fire Emblem.
Uh,
And I was like, oh, Fire Emblem, you say?
mm.
Hmm.
Now you're talking.
Then they told me the thing that I really needed to hear. There's a free demo. You can try it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, and they're like, and it's a lengthy demo, like all of the like the Japanese games are. Like they give you a demo,
And the
like,
progress carries over to the full
Yeah,
game.
it's like a 10-hour demo. It's like a whole damn game they give you. So because I do think I was kind of feeling, I wanted to try something new. Like I was kind of feeling a little like, let's do something different this week. So I downloaded it and played it, and I played it day before yesterday and played it last night for several hours. I was enjoying it to the point that I was like, I wonder if I searched it on YouTube just to and then there was the Bombcast of them talking about playing it. I was like, oh, this is great. So I clicked play. I was listening to that. Rebecca gave me the news. And I kept playing it. I hopped on the phone with Sean and I kept playing it. So yesterday I probably played it, I want to say, for like 5 hours. Maybe it was more like 3 because I was probably doing a bunch of stuff in between. I like it a lot. The game is gorgeous. Like, it's beautiful. The art style and the animation is just stellar. It's chef's kiss.
What's
That's
it called?
maybe like the best thing about it. It's called the 100 Line Last Defense Academy. It's very like Persona-esque, where there's like a day cycle and you go through the days. It's very dark. These aliens come and invade and like murder and annihilate the whole city. Like they pull people like limb from limbs and everything.
Oh,
So
I do like
it's-
the art style.
It's very dark and it's very, very pretty. Now, the longer I played it, like there was a point where I was like maybe an hour into it and I was like, I love it. I kind of need it. Almost was like, is there a physical? Can I buy like a cartridge? And Jace was like, there's a collector's edition. I was like, oh, this is a problem. But then I kept playing it. I was like, let's play the demo and see. And I kept playing and I kept playing it. Not that I'm saying I'm opposed to getting in the future, but the longer I played it, like the conversations, the visual narrative part, because that's what this game is. I probably should have started there. This is from the creators, I believe, of the Danganronpa series. So it's essentially Danganronpa, but with Fire Emblem mechanics and battles. The problem is the Danganronpa parts between the battles.
Mm-hmm.
They're so long. There's so much dialogue.
That's all
You
those
guys-
games.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember? Hell, I don't remember. So I don't even ask you that.
If a game is not like, if it's something where it's a visual novel, like Ace Attorney, where I'm expecting there to be 90% of it dialogue, like I'm fine with it. But for a game, if I'm like going into it where I'm expecting something like action or tactical, and like there just happens to be a lot of dialogue, I'm not into that.
Yeah, the After Love EP game that I played earlier this year, that was a lot of dialogue. But that's the game, right? Just like
Yeah.
getting around, like that's the game, and that's what this is too. So I'm not hitting for it for what it is. But like, this game has like fast speed text autoplay. There's an option to skip the conversation where you just hold B, and all of the conversations just go like super fast, like you're fast forwarding. This game, you can hold B for minutes at a time.
Wow.
Like you can just sit there and hold B and autoplay, and it will go for like 2 or 3 minutes. That's how much dialogue is there. And I felt bad because like there's so much exposition. Like you skip it, and I'm like, am I skipping something I need to know? Is it going to be like important? So it's just like the longer I played, it's just like I need more of the Fire Emblem part. I need the ratio to be greater. You know, like I was sitting here doing these dialogue conversations for what feels like 15 minutes at a time between battles. It's like, God, come on. I
I
just
know
want
exactly what
to
you're
let me
talking
do
about.
more of the battling, because the battling part's super fun. I did like that, the Fire Emblem part. It's just everything else. And Jace did tell me that apparently there's like over 50 or 100 endings or something, and in the game you can play it for hundreds of hours. I was like, yeah, this probably just isn't for me. You know, it's probably not for me. I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad they had a demo, but probably not for me.
Yeah, those Danganronpa games, you be sitting there talking to characters for like 10, 15 minutes, then you got
like it's
then you got
really
one
long.
conversation, then get right into another one
Yes.
for like 10, 15 minutes. Then you go into a battle, and the battle's like 2 minutes. And then you go into another conversation. Like, all right, fam, enough of this.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
So
It drives you insane.
Yeah, after I've played it for like maybe in total 5 or 6 hours, I was like, I got my fill. Like I liked it, and then it's time to move on. So another game that I played, and this one's just much shorter, is I've been playing a game that just came out called Dunk Dunk. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No, I have not heard of that one.
Dunk Dunk is like this little indie take on like basketball, but it's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of, do you guys ever play a game called Runbow?
I heard
I
of it.
have played Rumbo.
Yeah, Rumbo was a Wii U game. It's on Switch. I think it got ported over. It was an indie game on Wii U, where like it was like a platform challenge. You would race against other people, but the colors of the world would change, and like any platforms that match the color would disappear and stuff. So you like race to the end. This game is like similar, not the color stuff, but like has like a similar look and vibe. But it's kind of like basketball Smash Brothers. Like you get like an arena. There's platforms like Smash Brothers, and there's like a ball, and you race to get the ball. And then you like jockey and jump and fight to like dunk the ball, or you can shoot into the goal on the other side. Like each team has like a goal, and it's a team-based game. It's a real cheap game. It's like, I think it's $6. So don't get too excited. And I played it for a little bit. Like I said, it just came out. It's cool. It has a lot of indie crossovers, like in the game. So you use like Elsie, Blossom Tales, Ukulele, I think is in there. Little Gator Game. The Plucky
love
Squire is in the game. And then like you can mix match. The team names are cool. Like you can mix match your own character. You can mix match the team names. It looks like there's like a general like a randomizer that does the names. It's not like a list of names. Like every time you click through, it's like a brand new name. You know, so it's like the infallible Moose Knucks. Like it's just nonsense. It's just very funny and wacky. And you can have like dangly arms or a wolf head and change colors. It's just very stupid, silly. It's very silly game. I feel like the game is better as like an elevator pitch than it is in execution. Because like when I tell you what it is, it's like this frantic smash like basketball, indie game. To me, I was like, that sounds fun. I don't know if you guys think that, but like to me, I was like, that sounds fun. Actually playing it, it's a bit more chaotic. Like it's almost like you have to like, it's the physics aren't quite where I would want them to be for the game. Like it's kind of floaty. You kind of bounce off everything, so you kind of fight the fit. And I feel like that's part of the game. Like that's a part of it. You're kind of fighting almost like that. I want to say like almost like that PlayStation All-Stars type of feeling, from like movement and character moves and stuff. But for $6, like how upset can you be?
Is it going to be better or worse than Drag and Drive for the
That's a good
Nintendo Switch
question.
2?
Probably. That's a good question.
No, it's not. It's not a good question.
It's
a great
it's
question.
tough to answer, Rebecca. It's tough to answer. Having not
Wow.
played Drag Drive, I want to
That
say
is-
probably Drag Drive will probably be better than this.
That is our new metric.
There's no online multiplayer, which I feel like for this game and the price and everything, like kind of it feels like it almost defeats the purpose. Like local multiplayer, and it does feel like it feels like a local multiplayer game that you might find in like a Mario Party or something.
Okay.
So I played those. Not really, again, not playing games per se, like quote unquote, the new titles and everything, but I played a couple games. That's really it for me.
I don't think we're playing anything else right now.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm
talking to
mentally
Sean about that
preparing
last night.
myself for the Switch 2.
I'm going to take that excuse. I'm going to say that's it. I don't know what it is. I've been like this for months, but like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just generally not.
I've been like this all 2025. I don't know why.
I'm looking at my list for 2025
I have
and
stuff to play.
I feel embarrassed. Like we may have to cancel the Christmas show if this keeps up.
No,
like
'cause
I
once-
can't
once
I
it
can't
comes
actually
out-
talk about my game of the year with the games that I've played.
The game of the year is 2023.
Yeah, kind of like yeah. I don't know. The games
I'm
look
still playing
great.
South Midnight,
Yeah?
so I have one game at least.
I almost booted it up last night. Oh, like I thought about it.
Yeah.
But still didn't get there yet.
I'm still playing that one, so I'll at least have one. I will say this: my Decade of Horror list will be way more expansive than my Game of the Year list this year.
Mine too, probably.
I think
yeah.
I think I already have 3 already so far. That
Wow.
this is for sure going in.
I'm very excited. I'm hoping like maybe Doom is what gets me out. Like I'm like Doom, was it next week?
Yeah,
So I'll be day one jumping in on Doom. So maybe Doom is what gets me out of it. So very excited.
yeah.
We
Doom
have,
looks good.
Who is it? We have TJ, TG,
TJI.
TJI. Just read it like that.
Yeah, that's how.
This came across you guys some time ago. Seems there's a Nintendo podcast, an Xbox one. Correct? That is not correct. We have Place of Video Games, which is like the mothership show, and then we have the Nintendo Shack, which is what you're watching now. We used to have an Xbox show, but that's been defunct for some time now.
Yes, much like Xbox, we left.
It got absorbed into PSVG.
Pretty much.
Kind of.
So you guys ready to cover some of these news?
Let's get to it.
Yep.
Oh, as I scroll down the comments and see he keeps asking, is this podcast? We're live.
It's live. Hi.
We're live. We
Hello.
can see everything
Welcome.
you're saying.
Hope he's still here. Maybe he
That's
left
crazy.
already. We didn't answer enough. He's like, I'm gone. Let's see here. All right. News. All right. So let's lead off here with probably some crow eating on my part. There's been a hack, a breach at Arc System Works.
Bum bum bum.
One of the things that came out of it, which has honestly been completely buried, which is almost hilarious, is that there's a new Guilty Gear Survive game in the works for Switch as an exclusive. So that kind of came out of this hack. Nobody's really talking about that though.
Seems like
What
there's a
they're
new
talking
Guilty Gear
about-
game like every week.
Wait, it was who hacked? What do you mean? What happened?
Somebody got access to Arc System Works, like an employee's files, and they've been
Oh, like
combing
it wasn't
through
an
them and
employee that
releasing-
leaked it. Somebody got in.
Yeah, somebody got in. That's my understanding. Somebody got in. And one of the things that have access, the reason this has become somewhat notable in the last 24 hours, is they got access to a lot of developer privy information for Switch 2. And that's like dominating the headlines that you're seeing come out of this. Specifically, the game key cards.
Ooh,
So we've been talking for weeks about game key cards. And I think for several episodes now, I have been kind of alluding to there's been this scuttlebutt online. It's in forums, it's in Reddit, it's forum fodder. Not really any real reporting, but just forum fodder that Nintendo is only offering the one size of cartridge, and that's why we have the game keys, right? But on Switch 1, for example, the Switch cartridge, you could get a 4 gigabyte, an 8 gigabyte, a 16, or a 32. And very few games ever got the 32. Like, it was just so expensive, nobody ever got it. Nobody is like, it's on Switch 2, it's like 64 and nothing. You either get the 64 gigabyte card or nothing. There's no in between. And that's why we're seeing a lot of these game key cards. That was the scuttlebutt. Now that we have some of this information, this developer information, that's been confirmed. As only 3 types of formats are in the works for Switch 2, according to this the developer documentation. There's digital game only for the eShop. There is the 64 gigabyte cartridge, and then there's Codename Potion, which is the code name for the digital, or for the key card, the digital key, or the, what is it, game key card.
Game key
Yes.
card,
Game
which
key
is different than virtual key card.
Correct.
Virtual game card.
So, and there's some documentation to go along with this game key card and what it means. And it's funny because in the game key card, in the documentation, they don't say game key card. They call them 0 gigabyte game cards. That's what they're called, 0 gigabyte game cards. So whatever stores
piece
they're
of
using,
plastic in the box.
yeah, whatever, and not that I would expect them to have, for whatever gigabytes on it, but like we're probably talking about megabytes of information. It's like really small. So in the documentation for the game key cards, there reads, and this is really the only reason I even wanted to bring this up. There reads, applications can be downloaded and installed without accessing the eShop. So even in countries where the eShop is not available, users can play games using the 0 gigabyte game cards. Okay, that changes things considerably for me. So I will go ahead and say that I want to go ahead and apologize, because I think I got a lot of the information on this wrong, especially with my like hyperbolic takes over the last couple weeks talking about like when they close the eShop, the game key cards won't work. Because apparently the game key cards aren't tied to the eShop. They're tied to Nintendo's content delivery servers, which in hindsight makes all the sense in the world. I kind of upset with myself that I never paid any attention to it. I wasn't smart enough, I guess, to figure that out.
Well, to be fair, that's something that should have been clarified.
It would have been nice if it was.
Yeah, that's something that they should have said.
Question.
Yes.
Does this mean that even when Nintendo's eShop servers close down, you can still pop it in the Switch and download it as long as there's internet access?
Correct. Just
In
like
theory.
the eShop right now for 3DS is offline, but you can go and re-download titles that you've purchased, just like you can for the Wii U. Even though the eShop is closed, you can still re-download your own games that you've bought out of your library. Yes, this is how that would work. And to my knowledge, I don't think any platform provider has shut off access to games you've purchased on any platform to date. I think I could go buy a 360 and sign in with my profile and download 360 games I bought.
That is correct.
Right.
I know
So-
that with the PS3 at least. That's how I'm.
There will be a time at some point. There probably will be a time when they do shut those off. What the requirements are, what the operation, I don't know, a lifetime, 25 year, what the constraints are for that, nobody knows, because I don't think it's happened. I don't think we have an idea. I don't think anybody's done it. I think on PS3 you can go in, a Vita you can go in
Yes,
and
'cause
download
I
any
did it
game.
last
it
year
would
on
be if or when Nintendo shuts down operations,
Correct.
Microsoft shuts down gaming operations, Sony shuts down PlayStation operations.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to be within our lifetime.
Correct, and that's ultimately the point. Now, I'd like to have a mea culpa. I feel dumb for not having thought of this at all, because of course that makes sense. Now that I see it, it's like, of course that's how it works. I just only think about it. It feels like we have been on the teetering edge of losing physical media at any moment. And as somebody that really cares about that, I think I almost get tunnel vision, right? On these matters. I'm like, no, this sucks. I kind of just go off the cliff. So I think I did this. So suddenly the game key card isn't that terrible. I don't think this is going to make me rush out and buy a bunch of these. That I still think that stands. But it does suddenly explain why so many third parties are going with the game key card instead. Because apparently it is the cost. Now, something I wasn't able to verify, I saw this in Twitter. Somebody mentioned that I guess in the Nintendo, somewhere in their financial documentation, they mentioned the increased game price due to capacity. And they were reading that as in like the game cartridges, like because the game cartridges cost more. That's why they raised the price of the games. So I couldn't verify that. I went to a couple of the briefings I could find. I tried searching them. I couldn't verify that. But that might explain a couple of things. This might explain why Mario Kart's $80. This also might explain why so many third parties are going with the game key card, because the 64 gigabyte card is expensive. We're like, I don't want to say an N64 like situation, but a modern version of that where discs are super cheap to make. You can print a disc for like a quarter, and these game key cartridges might cost like $10 or $15. And for a lot of publishers, that's just too much. It's too big of an ask.
Especially
So,
if it's like you're only selling the game for 20 or 30,
I would say, especially if they don't want to raise the price,
right?
right? Like if you are a third party publisher, you don't want to raise the price of your games only on Nintendo Switch. Like maybe you don't want to make all your games $80. Let's use EA, because EA said that they're not raising their game prices. So like maybe they're like, yeah, we don't want to raise all of our games $80. Well, then you don't want to sell your game for $80 on Switch, because that looks like you're charging Switch people more than you're charging other people. So like to keep game costs down, you just do the game key card. I think the obvious question to ask is, why is Nintendo only using the one card? Why don't they have all the other options? I don't have the answer to that, but in the Reddit thread and the Fami boards that I was combing, trying to figure out more about this leak, or this hack. Don't call it a leak, this hack. Poor Arc System Works, it sucks. Yeah. I saw some really good theories, and the first being that for Switch 1, because they offered so many formats, so many different options to choose from, that certain options got a lot more use than others, right? More people went the 4 and the 8 than the 32. And because Switch 2 is looking to have bigger games, the file sizes are going to be bigger. Perhaps this is Nintendo's way of trying to bring down the cost of the 64 gigabyte. Like if we just choose the one and we use it, and everybody that uses it has to use it, over time, as we print more and more and more of these, the cost will come down, and then everybody can use a 64 gigabyte card. So if you're looking for some hope that maybe the game key cards become lessened or phased out, you could maybe think that. Also, I actually think probably makes more sense that it probably costs them the same to make the 64 gigabyte card as it does the 16 gigabyte card or the 30.
Yes.
And if that's the case, you might as well just get the most you can for the same amount of money, which is the 64, right? I don't know. But suddenly, I don't hate game key cards as much as I did. And that feels like a big development, at least for me personally.
Do you need it? You don't need an internet access to play it or boot it up,
No.
right? Just the
The
first
license
time to
is on
download
the
it
card. So once you download the game, you could go offline and play that cartridge
forever.
as long as you have
Like
the
it doesn't
cartridge.
do a check.
Correct.
Right.
And the license leaves with the cartridge, so you can trade it in, you can sell it just like you can a regular game. So if you want to have that revolving door, you can do that too.
Yeah.
So even if they go to Switch 4, Switch 5, or the Nintendo 3000 or something, like in the eShop closes, if you have these game key cards, you should still be able to play those games for some period of time afterwards, probably beyond our own lifetime. I would imagine, I would think, based on what we see.
That
so
is
far.
good news.
That is good
Definitely.
news, right?
It's not perfect, but I think it is good.
better.
Better than what we thought.
Yeah. I still don't understand if this is the way they were going. Here's what I don't understand. I brought this up on PSVG. Why didn't you just keep using the same cards you were using before? The Switch 1 cards. And instead on Switch 2, you require people to install the game to the hard drive like PlayStation, Xbox do.
Yeah.
Like why introduce the additional costs for the additional cartridge, the newer speed and all that? Why go through all of this Why don't you just install the game from the medium, whatever it is, to the hard drive, and you just put a bigger hard drive in the system? Why not just do that?
Make more sense.
Because the big issue with the the big issue with the game key cards is that you're so reliant on your own memory, and there's just not a lot of it in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's 256 gigabytes, and you can
I think
expand
because
it with
then
your
that's-
SD, but
That's putting the cost on the consumer to upgrade it and not Nintendo to include.
sure. But the whole point of the cartridge is that like you're subsidizing that storage space with the cartridge, but you lose that with a game key card.
Yeah.
Because you're writing it. So like to me, it would have made sense to let's get the smallest, cheapest physical media we can to let's put a 1 terabyte of memory in the Switch, and we'll just make people install it from the card. I don't understand why they didn't do that, but whatever. It's not for us to understand, I guess. But anyway, yeah. So my apologies for the last couple episodes where I went really hard on the game key cards. That was probably a bit exaggerated.
I'm still going hard on it that you're buying a chunk of plastic when you don't need to. We don't need more plastic waste.
I can get on board with that.
That is true.
Like I said, this doesn't change. I'm not going to go out and start buying a bunch of these. But I do think I'm maybe slightly more open to when we have a Black Friday sale or a good deal or something. I might grab a couple.
Hyrule Nate's bringing up points in the chat that still requires internet access. He lives in a region where his power goes out frequently. If he were to buy a game key card and need to download it the first time, doesn't always have the ability to do that with internet.
That's true. That's not any different, though, I think, based on probably most all of the other options, too. Especially when you start talking about, like, patches and day one patches. You could buy a game now and put it in. If you don't have internet, you can't play it until you patch it. That's possible. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Nintendo's doing a bad job, I think, with explaining this new
it would
console
help.
stuff.
I think it would help to give us a little bit more of the details. Some, you know?
A little bit.
I also think it would help if our independent media sources maybe asked them better questions. They've had a few interviews now with Doug and Furukawa and Trennan, and it's like, hey, like if we were at an event, if we went to one of the Switch hands-on, and Bill Trennan was there and we were able to ask questions, literally the first question I would have asked is, how do these game key cards work when the eShop turns off? That would have been the first question I would have asked, and I think it's a very logical, rational question to ask, and not one person has asked that of Nintendo at all. Nobody has asked that question.
Yeah.
So we had to hack into a developer to get access to figure it out. So, yeah.
I mean, do you think Nintendo internally is like looking that far ahead to when the eShop closes down? Because I feel like if they were to comment on that, then it would be like speculating on things that they can't promise, in 20 years from now.
It's a good point. I think, honestly, again, seeing it written made me feel like such an idiot because I was like, oh, of course. Honestly, the response could have been as simple as, oh,
well, no, you
the
couldn't.
eShop doesn't provide the eShop. The game key cards aren't tied to the eShop.
You couldn't possibly know that though because Nintendo has not elaborated. You would be making.
I don't think it's something that's apparent, but it's like the tech side of me knows that that's kind of like how it works.
Yeah.
Right. The eShop just provides you the license, the actual content server network. Right. That actually gives you the game based on your license. So like it makes sense. But yeah, you're right. It's not something we routinely think about. So, but I think it's a fair question to ask. Just in game preservation, you could honestly just ask it out of that. Like, hey, like we care about game preservation. How will these game key cards work?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guarantee these game key cards will always work for the lifetime of me having a Switch 2? That's an easy question to answer. They could literally just be like, yes. Like, and that's it. And we're moving on, but nobody asked. Nobody asked them about it at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm glad that I found that out. And not too hard, but like had to go diving into several threads to try and figure that out. So, Nintendo financials update, because this is the week where they had their investor Q&A. They announced all their new numbers. They announced all their new financials right ahead of the next launch for the last fiscal year. So Switch worldwide sales are now at 152 million systems sold. That's 15.7 million for the fiscal year. They sold 3.8 million of the standard Switch, 9.3 million of the OLED Switch, 2.5 million of the Switch Lite.
Wow.
That Lite just doesn't really sell. It never really has.
That's crazy.
It's not an insignificant amount. I think overall they've sold like 10 or 15 million of these. But like generally speaking, of the 150 million Switches unit, like it's by far the smallest margin. That's the only thing that gives me pause with everybody. Like they'll come back with the Switch Lite. It's like, I don't know. Like it makes sense to do it for Pokemon, but like it just doesn't sell very well.
I
Sounds
definitely
well
thought
enough.
that would. Yeah, I think well enough is
Yeah, that might be the answer. Yeah, it's well
the
enough.
keyword.
Yeah.
Well enough.
I'm
Just get some of the
just
stragglers.
surprised that so many new Switches are being bought knowing that the Switch 2 is coming.
Yeah. But then again, like I said a couple weeks ago, some
How
people
many
just
people
don't know it's
know?
coming.
Yeah, like how many
Like,
of those were bought?
I was
and
telling
nobody
about the
knew?
lawyer and his kid. Like, I just bought a Switch. Like, oh, here's the new one. Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I know we said it last time, but it's just like, don't you Google these things like before? Like, if anything costs more than like $200, like, aren't you Googling before you buy?
No,
No, not
for a
usually.
lot of people, no. My wife's one of those people. No, she doesn't Google anything. She doesn't like. Yeah, anytime I buy, I'm with you, Rebecca. I think it's a gamer thing to do. Anytime I buy anything of like over $50, I'm like, I need
Yeah.
reviews for it, alternatives. Which one do I need to get? Which is the best
Yes.
one? Can I
Like,
find a
not
sale?
just gaming, but like anything, like
Yes.
electronics, especially
Yep.
that there's going to be new versions of, like TVs or microwaves, or
Mhm.
like, that you're getting the newest, bestest, like whatever.
My wife says she wants something and just buys it. This is why she doesn't do the grocery shopping in our house. Our grocery bill will balloon in price overnight. It'll double.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always looking for sales, for coupons, for deals. Like,
I laugh at her all the
Maybe
time
it's a
because I've
money
taken
thing.
her shopping. Like when it comes to groceries, she doesn't even really look at the price.
Just puts it in the basket.
Kinda. Like I don't want to put it too far. Like she understands that, like, let's say we're buying crackers, right? She understands that all the crackers are here, they're different brands, different prices. But to her, like, they're all mostly the same price. Like to her, because it's like within $1 or so, it's like basically the same. So she just grabs the one she wants. And that's how she shops.
That is
I put
factually
yesterday
correct.
at
How
the
to do that.
grocery store, a cereal was in the wrong spot, so it cost $6 instead of $3. And when it rang up for $6, I put that shit back. I
See?
did not buy that.
Yeah, and this is I've always kind of teased her about it because
You can laugh and be like, "Oh, well, it's a $3 difference." I'm
Right,
like,
but
"No,
you
I'm
do
not
that for a-
buying $6 cereal. Are you
you do
kidding
that
me?"
for a cart full of groceries, and that's a difference in
Yeah.
hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
$3 becomes $103.
Yes.
Correct. That's the point I've always tried to tell him.
Go back and get the $2.99 cereal.
If
I
we
don't care
skimp
if
on
it's
the
worse.
cereal, the snacks, and then we can buy the steak and like the other nice things. Otherwise,
Yeah.
be eating hot dogs.
Beanie weenies.
Yeah. And I'm like, for all that's said about the price of consoles going up, and there has been a lot this week with the Xbox prices, with the Switch 2 prices, what people expect with the PlayStation prices. There's been a lot of talk about people pricing people out of gaming and not having affordable gaming and all that. The Switch Lite is kind of like a juxtaposition in that argument. Because here is the cheapest, most available, most consumer-friendly option. And a large majority of consumers are choosing to buy the more expensive version anyway.
Yep.
Like tens of millions of people. Not like a little, but like a lot. Like the large sample size.
Will that affect them making a Switch 2 Lite, do you think?
I don't know. Like the question is did it sell well enough to make it worthwhile? Because in my head, like, are those people that wouldn't have bought a Switch without a Switch Lite, or are those people would have just bought a regular Switch if the Switch Lite wasn't an option? Right? Like, where are they on that line? I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Like, I don't know either. I would think there would be people who wouldn't buy a Switch until it was the right price, and that Switch Lite's the right price.
I kind of think they would have just bought a Switch anyway. Like, if there was no Lite, I don't think these people wouldn't have bought one. I think they would have just bought a Switch, a used one, or like they would have just bought a Switch.
Yeah, I
Eventually.
assume that probably would happen. Eventually, yeah. But probably waiting for a price cut or something like that.
Yeah. So they might, like, the thing that I've always talked about when we talk about like how these models fare out is if I look ahead to a Switch 2 Lite, like, I'm wondering, does it make more sense to just try and encourage those people, those Pokemon players, to get a regular Switch so you get more money out of it than trying to make a cheaper model?
Yes.
Just find a way to, like, find a value proposition, a bundle, special edition, something, a sale. You just try to get them in at the higher price model.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Chat, tell me what you think. Do you think we'll get a Lite? Like, I think a digital or something maybe makes sense more than a Lite,
I agree.
but we'll see. Nintendo projects 4.5 million Switches for the next fiscal year. So as the Switch 2 comes out, they're still projecting to sell another 4 to 5 million original Switches. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tops out Switch 1 sales at 68.2 million copies sold.
Do they know?
Animal Crossing,
Wow.
47.8 million units sold, almost at the 50 million mark. Smash Ultimate at 36 million. Breath of the Wild at 32 million. Mario Odyssey at 29. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, the game that everybody is upset about, the price was too high and everything, joins the 1 million list copies sold. It's like, I think it's the only game for the past year that sold 1 million copies, or at least that they put on that chart. So
Wow.
it joined the 1 million sales club. For
Breath of the Wild
going
sold more than Tears of the Kingdom again.
Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't write it down, but that was interesting. If you watched the Investor, you saw the charts or anything. Tears of the Kingdom has been mostly flat. Like, it got to like 21, 22 million and like really hasn't moved a whole lot since then. So
21 million.
yeah, it definitely didn't do what Breath of the Wild did and doesn't look like it will. But who knows? Maybe Switch 2 will be, maybe that'll be a boon for it. Maybe there's people that left Switch and will come back and pick it up. Furukawa says, going forward, we will continue to bring new titles to the over 100 million people worldwide who are playing on Nintendo Switch. So they're saying they're going to keep making games for the Nintendo Switch, which we already knew because
Yes.
there's games announced for Nintendo Switch for the next couple years. But I guess the question is, how long do you think they'll support it? Do you look at this statement and say maybe they'll make more games for it than I previously thought?
I think we talked about this last week. I think that third party will support it far longer than Nintendo itself will. I think we know all of
Correct.
the first party games that are going to come to the Switch One, and you'll always get like the Just Dance and the things that will come out, the indies that'll come out on the Switch just to get them on the audience that's already there, probably for a
Yeah.
few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have sold 26.7 million units, making them the second best iteration for the Pokemon series of all time.
Well, second best
Second best selling.
selling, not the best.
Selling, yeah, sorry. I
Like
should
the-
say.
That's a
Second
big
best
difference.
selling.
20th best.
So,
That's yeah.
So on to Switch 2. In all these financial updates, Nintendo says they plan to sell 15 million Switch 2 units for the upcoming fiscal year. Furukawa says that in order to raise profit margins, it's necessary to increase the number of software purchased per hardware unit. So they're looking to improve the attach rate for software on Switch 2. He did mention that this forecast for the next fiscal year is based on the current assumption that the U.S. tariffs imposed on April 10th will be remained throughout the rest of the year. So they're not hoping for a lower or a higher. They're saying this is based on the tariff situations we have now. But this was like the most important part. Quote, if the assumptions regarding tariffs change significantly, we would like to consider what price adjustments we should make and implement them at that time. So this is Nintendo saying, if the tariffs go up, the price might go up too.
If the tariffs go down,
Price not going to go down.
Yeah, the
price
price
will
will
be
stay the
exactly
same. We'll consider it.
It's too. Our government's way too unpredictable. I feel like to predict anything.
Yeah. No, I think the
You
uncertainty
can't-
and the
you
risk
can make an
is.
assumption.
Yep. John 32 says 15 million is crazy. I feel like that's conservative.
Yeah, I think so too.
If they can make enough of them and get them into the country, like if tariffs don't go crazy, if they can make enough and get them in, I think they can do more than 15.
I think 15 million. If that's the number that they're getting into, if that's how is that for worldwide?
Yeah. So for the
Including
next fiscal
Japan?
year, so between now and March, the end of March 2026, they're thinking 15 million.
I think that'll be whatever number of Switches they make will be the number that they sell.
I can't wait to see launch week when we actually start seeing some consumer data come in, because all of the pre-estimates is there's 6 to 8 million of them on launch day. So like they could be halfway there on day one. I think they'll be at 10 million by the fall. Like I already said that. I wouldn't be surprised. It really just comes down to how many can they make. Like, can they keep making them? Can they keep getting them in? Because if they can, they might be 10 million by the end of June. Like if they can make
it's possible.
them. Like if they're around, if they can keep making them, I expect they'll sell. I expect Nintendo Switch 2 will sell basically out until there's 20, 25 million of them out there. Then you'll be able to maybe start finding them on shelves. But until then, I think they're just going to keep going as soon as they come in the door. They'll just go right out the door. So, but we'll have to remain and see what the tariffs are. Our Agent Orange said he's negotiating with China, right? We'll see what happens. Nintendo updated its EULA agreements. You may have seen. I saw your Switch update, and you had to accept the agreement. I also got an email.
People are mad about this.
Yeah, they are.
The email.
Which is why I put it. I honestly wasn't going to put it in the notes, and then I saw the headline, the articles that were being written about, and I was like, all right, so we should put it in there. So I wrote down a couple bullet points that comes out of this EULA agreement. Without limitation, you agree that you may not publish, copy, modify, reverse engineer, lease, rent, decompile, disassemble, distribute, offer for sale, or create derivative works of any portion of Nintendo account services, bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with, or otherwise circumvent any of the functions or protections of Nintendo account services. You acknowledge that if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part.
So I think the first part of this is not new, right?
The second part's not new either. That's the funny part. Like none of this is new.
Right.
I think people, because it's Switch 2 and the hype, and like anytime there's anything Switch 2, like the Arc system works and stuff, I think people are digging for stuff. I feel like I think you can dig into the EULA for like the 3DS and the Wii and shit, and you'll find the same thing.
Yes.
I don't think this is new.
It's a matter of whether they enforce it or not.
There it is. Yeah, I think they've always reserved the right to brick your shit.
Yes.
They bricked my online to my hacked Switch, and now
That's
if
normal.
if they want to, they may have the power to make it so that I can't launch any games.
Yeah. PlayStation does that too. They'll
Yep.
brick you from online. You can buy bricked PlayStation 5s like on eBay. It's like you can play it, you just can't go online with it.
That is definitely a thing.
Yeah, so like I saw all the buzz and everybody talking about it, so I put it in the news, but I kind of feel like that's non-news. I think that's been always the thing. I just think people just found it.
They be mad.
I don't think people read EULAs, but now they did because it's Switch 2.
Let's just say.
Yeah.
We've got some Switch 2, what I call tidbits, little updates. Final Fantasy VII Remake. They got one of those creator voice videos, just like Cyberpunk, where they hinted that they want to bring the whole trilogy to Switch. So don't think it's just going to be the first one. You're going to get, is it 3 of them?
Yeah.
What are
2
they
so
called,
far.
Delvin?
It's like Final Fantasy VII Remake and then
Retribution?
Retrograde.
Retrograde, yes.
There it is.
Integrate, I think.
Integrate. Yeah, I don't know, something like
And the
that.
third one is not out yet.
Yeah. If it runs decently, I will probably finally do it.
Oh, Yarden says this isn't the part making people mad. Keep reading. That's all I wrote down. So what's the part that made people mad? Because all I saw was people being angry that you could brick the console.
Yeah, blow it up. That's what it should do. It's just blow it up.
That'd be hilarious.
just
This
see like a
device
puff
will
smoke.
this type device will terminate in 5, 4, 3.
just huge explosion.
Just like the Inspector Gadget shit.
Yes.
It's countdown. Like,
Trying to
oh,
find what Yarden might be talking about.
Oof. Star Wars Outlaws and Hogwarts for Switch 2 confirmed to be game key cards. Oh, I did
Boo.
see that too. Okay, so Yarden brings up the anti-arbitration class action thing. Yeah, I did see that too. I just didn't think it was worth talking about. Are people really mad about that? That's pretty standard across, I think, like most of the industry, like entertainment industry. Did you guys see
That doesn't mean you can't sue them. That's just
It really
fancy
doesn't.
talk.
Yeah, that gives them an argument to make, but there are other companies that do that, and they get sued all the time. You can,
Yeah.
if you have a right to sue,
Correct.
you have a right. to
No
sue.
judge is going to look at a document that says you can't sue us if you get hurt on this ride.
And I think something like that has happened. So, yeah, game key cards for Outlaws and Hogwarts. Civ 7 is joining Split Fiction as another game coming to Switch 2 as a code in the box.
Don't like that.
Yeah, like you feel like the game key card is a whole reason to not have that, but yet there are people still doing code in the box. They're like, oh, well, we don't even want to do the game key card.
This would never have happened if Luigi Mangione weren't locked up.
I agree.
Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time, has confirmed a Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade. So that game comes out this month. There's a Nintendo Switch 2 version coming at some point in the future. And they announced that you'll be able to upgrade that game. I believe, I want to say I have this correct, for $2 in Japan. And the reason I say in Japan is I think it's a free upgrade, but I did not know this. I think I learned this week, reportedly, based off the YouTube video was explained to me. Apparently in Japan, free upgrades are like not allowed. Like that's not a thing. In Japan, if you have a different version of the game, by law, you are required to charge something for it.
Wow.
So they have like a bunch of these updates and stuff where you pay like a nominal fee of like $1.
$2
Or $2
I want my
to upgrade.
$2.
That
think that-
is 1 cent in US dollars.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a free upgrade for everyone else, but I think in Japan it's the upgrade. Via the
2
Nintendo
yen is going
Today-
to cost them more to charge it to their credit card than it will to get that amount.
That's true. Yeah. Nintendo Today announced that the Switch 2 will have 258 user icons for you to choose from, including a whole page of Pokemon.
All the starters.
Let's go,
That
baby.
does not include Cubone.
It's just the starters.
It's just the starters. That's
Cubone
correct,
is a
Delvin.
starter.
Keep booing them.
He's a starter for Donnie's life, goddammit.
Can't
Sons of
include-
bitches.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Delvin.
Here's what I want. Can I say something?
No.
Moving on. So, of course, Rebecca.
Of course.
Say anything you want.
You know how with Nintendo Switch Online we can put you could get those little platinum coins and then you can go in and it's like if you play Kirby's Adventure, then you can buy these Kirby icons or whatever, and then
I
you
did
can get
that
like the little
yesterday.
backgrounds and the little frames and
I did
stuff.
that yesterday.
However, you cannot mix and match between the games, not even the franchises. Like if I wanted to like use
Who's
a
clapping?
Kirby's Forgotten Land
That's correct. You
icon
can't
with a
mix and match.
Kirby's Adventure frame or background. You
Yep.
can't do that.
No
And
mixing.
I think that's wrong. I have so many cute backgrounds and frames that I want to use on my preferred icon.
I love this.
And there's no reason, because they're all first party Nintendo games, there's no conflict of interest. I'm not going to be putting Mario in like a Call of Duty
Bayonetta.
Warzone. Like,
Which you should.
I just want to be able to mix and match, and there's no reason why I shouldn't. I have all of these cute frames that I can't use because I really am attached to my icon, and I just want to see that change be the change you wish to see in the world. I'm talking about it, and I want them to do it.
I
agree.
wholeheartedly agree.
I agree.
Thank
There's
you.
one thing I'm about. Interracial Nintendo.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. I just needed to get that off of my chest. That's been weighing on me.
Yeah, I collect a lot of the icon stuff. I scroll through it every couple of weeks.
Let
or
them
so
mix
and see if
together.
there's some. Yesterday, I got some of the Yoshi's Island icons. Yeah. So I was kind of thinking that like themes would be a part of that.
And you know
would be
what
able to
else?
Do your profile buttons and stuff.
Furthermore, there are some icons that don't even have any options for backgrounds. For example, the Earthbound and
Yeah.
Mother 3, they have icons, but guess what? If you want to use one of those, you don't get a background choice. You can have a solid color.
Color.
But then you can't have a
Nobody wants
background.
that.
No ring. You can't have a frame.
It's
no
so
background.
rude. And I think that if they were to let us mix and match, then I can have Ness going like this with like an Animal Crossing background. It would be super cute.
I like it.
I agree.
I agree.
Thank you.
You can customize the Joy-Con too with side plates. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but on the side of the
I
Joy-Cons,
didn't see that. I like that, though.
on the outer edge of the Joy-Con, they have a clip-on piece of plastic that hides the screws. That clip-on piece of plastic can be removed, and you already can buy like neon-colored variants from AliExpress to clip on and match your joystick colors if you want. It's just a little strip of plastic on the side. I think it's pretty cool. I wonder if like I've yet to see anything that you can do about the rings around the thumbsticks, right? So like you can't get too crazy with the colors and stuff because I mean you can, but like you're still gonna have that orange and blue thumbstick, so there's not a whole lot you can do around that, unless we get alternatives for that.
Yeah. I like it. That's cool. I'm not buying off of AliExpress, though, because AliExpress probably, with the tariffs, probably cost like $300.
Yeah,
It's 50
That's true.
cents. But with tariffs, it's now
Under-
$25.65.
I put in a Sheen order right before the tariffs.
Boy,
Thinking it's
We
like
wanna
the
fit-
last package out of Nam kind of situation.
boy.
you know, I did buy a new Chromebook this week just in case. Like I was like, it was
I-
on sale.
I gotta upgrade
It
my
was
iPhone.
super cheap, but like I was in the back of my head, I was like, just in case everything falls off a cliff, let me just go ahead and grab this right now. Like, let me go ahead and, like,
Little does Agent Orange know that he is actually promoting us to hurry up and buy things from other countries, and we're stimulating
Yes.
their economies unintentionally.
I know all the fine honeys, boy. They real mad about that Sheen shit. They are upset.
Sheen
They're
is
like, what
upset?
No, the women who buy Sheen.
Oh,
all the
I
women who
know.
buy Sheen. They're like, hold up. This shit used to cost $22. Now it's like $85. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
That was my
I never
my
bought
secret
anything off
magic.
the Shein.
It's
Yeah,
like
like,
totally, probably super
I
unethical.
got Melissa a bra for TikTok, and
Oh.
she likes it. Like it's not trash. It was like $20. She likes it.
that's
I
good
love
job.
It
Shein.
fits. It's nice. A couple of headlines. So last week we had a false alarm concerning Chrono Trigger. There was a lot of these reports. It was like Yuji said he's nope. We actually have an on-record statement now from Yuji Ori saying he's contemplating a Chrono Trigger remake.
Mm,
Yes.
Okay.
Rebecca, it's going to happen.
yeah. Okay.
It's going to
Yeah,
happen
one
this
day.
generation. You are getting a Chrono Trigger remake, and I am happy for you and
Thanks.
Kyle.
Thanks.
And I want to ask you, in your heart of hearts, what's the perfect way to remake Chrono Trigger?
HD 2D.
You want to go that art style?
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen some pushback where people are like, it doesn't need any of that. Leave it alone.
No, just put
did
it on
really
Nintendo
keep-
Switch Online and we'll be happy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I never did Chrono Trigger. Like I tried it
It's
once,
Good.
but I,
It's cool.
Got into it. Oh, I know. Like, yeah,
The
people love
story's
it.
very good.
It might be like the best game that I've never like really played.
Probably.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah.
I have a DS copy. Just because of fandom.
hype.
People online talking about how great it is.
Yeah, that DS copy is probably worth a pretty penny.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would think so.
I just figured it was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. I figured it was pretty
Let
standard.
me see.
Because I think I picked that thing out of like a bargain bin. I think I played it for like an hour and then turned it off and never played it again.
Let me see ones recently sold.
But
I always look at the
know-
recently sold because
I
you
know
can list it for anything.
Rebecca and Kyle for PSVG for years and years. I mean, adore and love this game.
$115.
Holy shit! I'm about to
$80
sell a
just
copy
the
of-
cartridge.
I'm about to sell a
$110 with
copy
the
of
box.
Chrono Trigger.
106.
I'm about to get
60
that.
with just the cart.
I'm about to get that Madden key card.
71, 84. These are used without the car, without the box. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think I have the box.
literally today, one sold for $115 with $5 delivery.
Wow, I did not know that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to make some listings.
Sell it and then just download it digitally.
Isn't it like on mobile? You can play Chrono Trigger on your iPhone. or
Yeah,
something?
but like, I mean, do you really
Like
want
an
to play it
app
on
store.
mobile?
That's not
I
the
don't-
same.
Listen, I don't really want to play it. It's not for me.
But
So
yes,
then-
it is.
Yeah, it's not for me. Wow. Donkey Kong Country 3 and Yoshi's Story Switch Online icons are now available. I played Yoshi's Story to get the icons. So I did that this week. This one's somewhat interesting. So this week, Nintendo Soup reported that the Switch 2 will only have light and dark themes at launch. And everybody had frowny face. That sucks. However, there's like no sourcing in their article. They were like
Who's
very
Nintendo Soup? Who is that?
That's a blog. Yeah, it's a Nintendo blog, like My Nintendo, like Nintendo Life. They're like the
Nintendo Soup.
Nintendo
Soup.
Everything. It's just one of those.
They talk
Okay.
about Nintendo Soup flavors.
So here's the thing. This was actually I was tagged for this. They were like, Donnie, did you see this? And I was like, no. So I look into it, and they're very like definitively like this. It's been confirmed, and I'm looking through the article. I'm like, where has it been confirmed? So I start looking around online, and then apparently the images that they referenced apparently is like from Reddit, like a concept. I think they got faked out and didn't realize it. So I'm not saying this isn't true. I'm just saying it at the moment. This remains murky. We don't.
Well, what
really
about
know
the
if this
people
is
who got a
confirmed.
hands-on with it? You know, those people were going hands-on at like New York and stuff, and all those other
The
places.
one, I think the one YouTube channel that talked about. I think they were told they weren't allowed to access into the settings. That like if you jumped out and tried to get into the settings, they would stop you. But yeah, I don't know.
I would be shocked if we got more than light and dark, white and black, basic bitch white, and
I was legit thinking at the very least we'd get colors, and yeah, maybe that's in question now. Like I'm still not ready to let go, but I couldn't find anything to definitively say that we're not. I still think if it launches day one, black white, I still think we will get themes. I don't think we're gonna do this. for
it'll
like
be
8 years.
huge news in 2027 when they finally add them.
Yeah, like they will add themes, just like we got folders. Like they will add something. I am pretty sure, but I'm still holding out hope that we get a little nice surprise. We'll see. We talked earlier this year about the Video Game Hall of Fame candidates. You guys remember that? We walked through all the games.
Yes,
we
I
picked
do.
some.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm happy to let you know that GoldenEye 007 has officially been inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame. Joining GoldenEye is Defender,
which
Quake,
I said should go.
and Tamagotchi.
I think I made a case for all of them except for Defender.
Yes, you said Defender can fuck off.
And I
I
think
don't
I said
remember them.
either GoldenEye or Quake. I think I leaned on Quake more than GoldenEye.
I think I
Yes.
said Quake. I think GoldenEye and Quake were mine, but I don't remember what I remember not going for Tamagotchi, but I
I
don't
think
remember,
Tamagotchi was my honorable mention shout out, like little.
I don't
like,
remember
not
what the
picking
other
but
thing was that I went
It
for.
was the football game,
Yeah.
the handheld football game thing.
Oh, like the Tiger Electron. Okay,
Yes,
Yeah. that makes sense.
it was
That's pretty
that, and it was something else.
And then
Did I make
Rebecca
a
wrote,
case for Harvest Moon? Was that one of
That
them?
sounds
It might have been one of them. I think so.
Sounds right.
Okay. All right.
And as we talked about to open the show, Giant Bomb has went independent. That was the last
Yes.
news block. So
Congratulations.
that's the
Yeah.
news this week. As we are, let's see, I was counting last night. How many days away are we? 7,
25.
14, 20, 25 days away from
I
launch.
have it on my phone. If you get the remember I was telling you about that Switch Buddy app, you can get a widget that tells you how many
Wow.
days right on the front.
That's cool.
I just got a new phone. Rebecca, I'll let you know that one of the first things I re-downloaded was Switch Buddy. I love that app.
Yeah.
See, I told you. I've been
I had
using it
no
for my
idea.
screenshots.
How'd you find it?
I don't know.
How does
I think-
anybody find it? Like,
I
I've
don't-
never heard about it until you told me.
I don't know how I found it.
But it's way.
Oh, I
better for
think
the
somebody
screenshots.
said on Reddit about screenshots how it's so annoying, and especially because you can't like post them to Twitter now or
Can't
whatever.
batch download them. I love it. You
Yes,
just
and somebody
download them all
recommended
at
Switch
once.
Buddy. Yep.
That's incredible.
And I think that problem will be fixed with the Switch 2 because you'll be able to do it right from the console to the
Yeah,
app.
we'll be able to do it from there.
But this is a good in the meantime.
And I'm hoping, I still hope that lets us batch download. Like if I still have to go through them on the Switch app one at a time, then I will keep using the Switch Buddy thing.
You can do batches of 10 already.
Yeah, the batch, but I mean like so like I guess based on the wording that we got out of that magazine, on Switch 2, apparently there's going to be like an album, and if you put your clips or screenshots in that album, it'll sync with the Nintendo app. So when I open up the Nintendo app, I want to be able to batch download the files and not download them one at a time.
Right. And more
I
than
can-
10 at a time would also be ideal.
Yeah, if I still have to, if I have to do them one at a time, I will continue using Switch Buddy instead.
Yeah.
Because that's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, you only have to scan it once. Okay, we have some questions directly from you. Starting with Cody. With the new price on games, do you think Nintendo might bring Nintendo Selects back for the Switch 2? No.
I will say yes, but I will say only for Switch 1 games.
They seem like they want to start charging us more for Switch 1 games in some cases for those upgrades.
That's a good point. I'm thinking like games that probably won't get updates. Like Switch 1 titles that maybe won't get updates. Maybe they'll come out like I'm thinking like literally like a box.
So
Looking at,
how
like, a new-
how
like a
much
new
money
box.
are Nintendo Switch Selects?
$39.99.
$20 less than what you bought it for?
I'm thinking things like Donkey Kong HD, Mario vs. Donkey Kong,
Animal Crossing.
Echoes of Wisdom maybe. I think Animal Crossing is going to
Yeah.
get a Switch 2 upgrade. That's going to get an update pack.
Please.
Well, the question is like, I still think it's going to update pack, but I guess the argument against it is we want them to buy a new Animal Crossing, so let's not touch the old one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
yeah. So maybe it doesn't. ARMS? No, ARMS is getting a free upgrade, right? It could still get like a Selects, reprint.
Echoes of Wisdom, I think, is getting a free upgrade.
Yeah. And like those things getting free updates, you could still Nintendo Select those. You just put them in a different box and call it a day.
Hyrule Knight is
that's
saying your
right.
copy of Chrono Trigger DS is probably more than what I just said.
I got to go find this thing because I'm pretty sure it's in my daughter's DS case.
He's
and I have
saying
no
that the
idea where
lowest
it's
he sees that's a non-reproduction authentic working cart he sees is 155.
I have.
And if you have, he says, if you have, where did he see this? Real complete in box, not missing any manual.
No.
or
Definitely
poster.
don't have the box. Just have the cartridge.
Oh.
I bought it out of a DS case at a GameStop where they didn't have any, but like they're all little cartridges lined up. But I don't think I paid $20 for it. I think it was cheaper than that.
Yeah, you scored.
My daughter has a DS back when the 3DS was a thing. I'm talking 10, 15 years ago. I had a 3DS. My daughter had a DS because we're back in Pat. We bought a couple DS games. So I have Phantom Hourglass. I have Chrono Trigger.
Those are all worth a good amount.
I think I have like Pokemon and is it like Donkey Kong like minis or something, like one of the little Mario mini games or something. I want to say is one of them. I might be misremembering that. But I
Well,
have a
listen,
couple
DS is at
games.
peak nostalgia factor right now because the kids that grew up with them are now of adult buying things from their childhood age.
The problem is all of those games are in the case that my daughter's DS is in, and there's no telling where that fucking thing is. I haven't seen that thing in a couple of years. So I have to go
Somewhere under
sleuthing
your
around
roof.
trying to figure it out and see if she sells
Somewhere.
a copy. The last time I saw it, I remember, like, I think we pulled it out from like underneath her bed, and it was just like caked in like years of dust and dog hair and stuff.
I imagine
Yeah,
that's not gonna be a fun ride. Just going.
I'll have to go
daughter's
try
room
to
looking for
find
this.
it. She may, and here's the thing. Well, she won't care about Chrono Trigger, but if I try to sell any of her other DS games, she's like, absolutely not. If I tell her I'm looking for it to sell, she won't even let me in her room. She'll be like, get out of here.
Tell her you're looking for DS Chrono Trigger because you got convinced to play it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Like, hey, you remember this game? We're going to go try and find it.
Yeah. No to Nintendo Selects.
It's possible.
Crawler asks, which gaming franchise during the Switch era has improved the most or increased in quality or popularity? There's multiple parts to this, so let's start with that.
Xenoblade.
Yeah, Fire Emblem maybe.
Fire Emblem, I think, increased in popularity a ton. Oops.
I feel like Xenoblade is like, Xenoblade went through a whole damn transformation during the Switch era. Xenoblade went from a thing that like I used to talk about, people were like, what's that? Now like everybody loves Xenoblade.
Not to be funny, but it might be Zelda too.
Zelda definitely.
That's a good
Yeah,
call.
because people like
Huge increase
Zelda-
in
yeah,
popularity.
Zelda was here. Now
And
the Switch to
Breath
Zelda's
of the
like,
Wild
Yeah.
is
It's like-
a whole
it's
different
like-
Yes.
trajectory.
yeah,
That's true.
it was,
I
it's
hate
the other
how true
Zeldas,
that
and
is.
there's this Zelda. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's different.
What was the highest selling Zelda before Breath of the Wild? Before
Twilight
Switch?
Princess.
Was it Twilight?
Yeah.
And it was probably at only like what 10, 12, 13 million.
That's what I
copies?
was thinking. Yeah,
Let's see. Twilight Princess sold 10 million.
I've
Breath
got-
of the
this is-
Wild
This is from
sold
Zelda
32
Universe.
million.
I've got Zelda Universe from March 31st. They made an infographic. Best-selling Zelda games of all time. Breath of the Wild 1 at 33. Tears of the Kingdom 2 at 20. Ocarina of Time 3 at 14 million units sold.
Okay, if you include, yeah, you're right. If you include between that and
It's
the
counting
3D version.
64 and 3DS together.
Yes, yes.
Link's Awakening at 10.4, counting Game Boy Color, and Switch.
And that's only because the Switch version sold 6.6 million.
And Twilight Princess, 10 million copies, 7.4 on Wii, 1.4 on GameCube, 1.1 on Wii U.
Yeah.
it's Zelda.
So then when you got Breath of the Wild at 32.6 million.
Yeah, that really, especially out of a single SKU.
Yeah.
Because I think your point, Rebecca, is at a single SKU, Twilight Princess on the Wii sold 7.5 million copies.
Yeah.
So that's probably the single SKU standard is 7. Then the Breath of the Wild was like, hold my beer.
Yeah,
Let's just shoot you into the stratosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good call, Delvin. Very good call.
that's crazy.
I hate that
That is
that's
crazy.
like the answer. I hate it. I hate that that's the answer.
You got Majora's Mask all the way down at the bottom of that list. Love to see it.
I think the worst selling one is Minish Cap. So look at me.
It's missing Minish Cap, Phantom Hour. It's missing all of those. But like out of these, it goes. I'll just read them since we're here.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Ocarina, Link's Awakening, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, which would have been maybe my thought before we looked it up. Link to the Past, the original Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker,
was
and
gonna
then
ask
Majora's Mask.
I remember that original Legend of Zelda selling a lot.
6.5 million on NES. That's a lot.
That's a lot. A lot of people
For that
had
time,
game.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
shit ton
lot.
back in the day. I thought for whatever reason, I thought Skyward Sword did a lot more on Wii. Only 3.5 million units. That's
It came at the very end of the Wii's life, like when people were
yeah.
kind of already moving on,
guess so.
like very, very end.
Yeah.
Crawlers, the next question is which gaming franchise has gotten worse during the Switch era?
Yeah, I think the answer to that one's pretty clear.
Not in popularity.
Yeah, no, that's true. But there's not popularity. We're just
Well, no, he
which
says
franchise has
in
gotten
quality
worse?
or popularity.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you for pointing that out. Well, in quality,
Pokemon.
Pokemon. It's
Not even close.
pretty easy call there. In popularity, though,
I think Mario Sports has gotten worse in quality.
I almost want to say Mario. Not because it's worse. It's just like Wonder did not do like crazy. Not crazy. Did well, very well, but not crazy.
That is true.
And I find that to be crazy considering how good that game is. But the people have spoken. They do give no fucks about 2D Mario, apparently. They are done. Which I hate to see.
Star Fox did worse during the Switch era.
Yeah. That's true. Farmed out to a third-party game.
Yeah, I think Pokemon's our answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the answer is Pokemon.
Crowler's opinion is I think Mario Kart has skyrocketed to the moon and back, while Pokemon has hurt its reputation during the Switch era.
Yes.
Doesn't matter for sales, though. We just said it's the second best-selling Pokemon.
I mean, Mario Odyssey did 30 million, and that's very good. Very good.
Yeah, that's really good.
But like Mario Party sold 21 million units. Mario Bros. U Deluxe sold almost 20 million units, and Wonder is at like 10. Something happened with Wonder. Wonder just people just did not get it.
That's crazy.
Maybe they felt Mario was a little oversaturated, probably. And it's a different game. It's such a different game.
I don't think it's oversaturated, though. Like, I don't know.
I'm going to look
Not
at
for
the
2D.
investor from this week.
It is odd.
Let me pull it up.
I feel like it should not have sold as poorly as it did. It did, though, come out at the same time as like around the same time as Mario RPG, Paper Mario.
Yeah,
Donkey Kong.
that's kind of a lot. Even in a different game.
I stand corrected. Mario Bros. Wonder sold 15 million units, so I guess it did go up.
Oh, okay.
It
That
went
is
up a
decent.
bit. It went up with the latest update from the fiscal year. So that's pretty decent. Stand corrected. It's getting there. It's finally starting to catch up. I remember the last time, I'm thinking like a year ago, it was at like 9.5 or 10 million. I was like, that's light. You'd expect more, especially Mario Party's at like 22 million. It's like, how many of you people are buying Mario Party but not Mario Wonder? Like, what's wrong with y'all?
Me.
Oh God, Rebecca's like,
Yeah.
I am them.
Super Meta Boy has a question for us. I like this question. He asks, question for Shaq, what 3 aspects of game design are the most important to you?
You'll know
And
what
he
I'm laughing in a
lists-
minute.
He lists a whole lot of ideas for what you could pick,
Look, read them off,
including,
Rebecca.
but not limited to, story, graphics, handling or mechanics, upgrades or progression, menu management, multiplayer ability,
Menu management.
challenge level,
It gets better.
combat, characters, boobs,
There it is.
soundtrack, pacing, beloved IP, something else not listed here. You can only pick 3 things.
Sure.
What are yours?
Donnie's picking boobs 3 times.
That's you. You're picking boobs
I'm
3
not
times,
picking
not me.
boobs.
Come on.
Nah, I can't pick boobs.
Does that count as 2 answers or 1?
I want to say mechanics. Like, does that
Gameplay.
count for like what kind of like genre, like what kind of game it is, like the mechanics
Correct.
of how you play it?
Gameplay, yeah.
Gameplay.
That's my number 1.
Same.
I want to say like graphics, but not like how good it. Like I want to say like the style, like art style,
Sure.
like how
Yes.
it presents
Still
itself,
counts,
visual
graphics.
style,
That counts, yeah.
not like the how like 1080p or
Yeah,
realistic
no,
or
that's
whatever.
like graphics. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
resolution.
like characters, I guess. Characters.
Mhm.
Shout out to menu management.
I love a good menu system, but like the idea that anybody's like thinking
I
about
know,
that
yeah.
like
I
that's
just like
crazy
I like
to me.
that. I like that was
But-
so high up on like the ideas.
Right, but when I do get into a game that has impressive menus, I definitely take notice.
Listen, not menus for me, but if a game has a good map, that's chef's
Yeah.
kiss. I love good
Yeah,
maps.
a game that has a good UI, you're like, oh, this is awesome. You're like,
Yeah.
I do appreciate it, but
Yeah.
are you, Delvin?
Handling mechanics, story, and
Mm-hmm.
just for fun, boobs. Let's add boobs in there.
It's
Love
definitely
it.
not for fun.
Boobs aren't fun, Donnie? How dare you?
I'm just saying that's a very serious answer for you, not just
No,
you
it
threw that in there like some cover fire, and I'm not letting you have it.
Nah,
Say it
I
with
also
your
want to
chest.
say beloved IP. I feel like I definitely gravitate towards the games that I know that I've loved and played before. Like, you
Sure.
know, like Zelda's always going to be a day one for me. Life is Strange. It doesn't matter if it's like the game is going in some crazy direction. Like, I'm there. Like, I'm more likely to be sticky with the IPs that I have played in the past.
as the great Billy Gunn once said, I'm an ass man, Donnie.
Yeah, nice. Super Meta Boy said you can only pick 3. Rebecca's on 5 so far.
I'm
So
sorry.
She picked half the answers.
Right, yeah, she's still going. Yeah, gameplay, like the loop of controlling a character and what you're doing, gameplay and mechanics
That's the most
are
important.
always key to me first. For pro and bad, like you show me a shooter with good traversal and fast speed, I'm interested. It really doesn't matter what the story is with characters, like I'm interested. Likewise, you show me a turn-based game where you're standing there and picking from a menu to play, like, and I'm less interested. So like that's first that. The second, I would say, probably IP. I'm probably more inclined to go to an IP that I'm interested in than not. And then third, I would say graphics. As much as I would like to say story, I actually don't think I can. I don't think there's. I love and appreciate a great first-person story. That said, I play a shit ton of games that barely even have a story,
Yeah.
and love them. So like, I can't pick story. 'Cause
I
I actually don't
feel
think it's
like-
that important to me.
I feel like
That's
for
very
me, it's like not story, but like lore and like world building. Like I love things
That's a
like
good
Splatoon. Like nobody
Yeah.
thinks Splatoon is story,
That's kind of exactly where
but
my
like
head
the
is. Yeah.
lore is miles deep,
Like
and
I
like
played
the
Mario
world
Golf this
building
week. There's no
is
fucking
like
story there.
crazy. Yeah.
You know, and Mario Wonder has a
Yeah.
story, but it's like not really. Like it's
Yeah.
not really a story.
Even Zelda, like, is it the
Yeah.
story? Like nobody is playing Zelda for the story. They're playing
in
it
my
for
head-
the world building.
I was thinking about this, trying to apply that to games of like, dude, I play hundreds of games that don't have like a
Yeah.
story or let alone a good story.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
love a
love
game
story.
that does have a good story, but
Mhm.
it's not a requirement.
Yeah, story's my thing. Game mechanics and story. That's what I go for.
Yeah.
But yeah, graphics. I mean, listen, you guys have all heard me talk about like, I love a good, pretty game. I love a cell shaded game. I love a crazy art style game. I played 5 hours of damn visual novel last night because I thought it looked great. Like
It does
the
look great.
easiest way for a game to get me is to show me something that like, especially lots of color, like I'm in. So I can't not say that one too. As much as I would like to pick boobs, it's not always the answer.
Sometimes. Top 5.
Well, if we keep going,
Graphics,
like Rebecca,
Then boobs.
like we can keep picking. Like
Yeah,
Or
let's just
ranking
keep
it.
picking stuff.
TJ asks, just wanted to see if anyone on the show is playing Blue Prince. I've heard so many good things about
Everyone
that.
keeps
though.
telling me about this game.
yeah, it's on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I downloaded it for PlayStation Plus. I'm gonna try it.
I am not interested. I don't think that's a game for me. Maybe
I don't even know what
maybe
it
I
is.
eat those words one day, but I don't think that's for me.
But people keep telling me, hey, you should play Blueprints. I'm like,
Yeah.
Blueprint?
People
Like,
love it.
no, Blueprints. I'm like, Blueprint?
Jeff and Mike
Yeah.
love it. Like they gush. They just fawn. And like listening to their conversation will make you want to play it because it sounds awesome. Just doesn't sound like it's for me. I also I listened to Rebel FM and they were bringing up the fact that like I think this is one of those definitely like this definitely counts in that indie darling, right? Like Balatro, Vampire Survivor, like Blueprints is definitely there right now. I think we're going to hear a lot about it for Game of the Year. I feel like there might be the game may suffer maybe a little bit from a disconnect between like game reviewers and gamers. Apparently, I don't think the game is like reviewing as hot like on Steam and stuff like by the masses. So it might be one of those things where like the folks that are like reviewing lots of games or just generally like a particular kind of game, like they really, really love this game. And that may not apply to everyone, like to the masses, and that's okay.
Right. Drew asks, will GTA 6 ever come to the Switch 2?
I answered this question on PSVG this week. It's the first question I got on either show this week. I got this question like 10 minutes after that damn trailer came out.
Yep.
My answer, by the way, on PSVG was if it does, the only way I think it does is if it comes via the cloud. I could see a GTA 6 cloud version for Switch 2.
I think 5 comes.
I think 5 comes.
I want to believe 5 comes. I do. I want to believe that happens. I hope
That'd
so.
be a good move to do, too.
It would be
GTA
great.
5.
But you just never know with Rockstar. They may just be like, it's not worth it. You know. But it could be a great way to, you know, extend that game's life and get more people into GTA Online and stuff. Like it could be worth it, but
Yeah.
I'll buy
Paying
it.
people to buy it. A whole new
I'll
generation will
buy
just buy it again.
That's a game that I would really like to see a Switch 2 update, improvement. Like I would like, I know like Rebecca's like, I want my Animal Crossing. Like I need the GTA trilogy to get patched up for Switch 2. That would be awesome for me. So, but I would buy and replay GTA 5 on Switch 2. For sure. But
Same.
I don't, from what we saw, I don't think GTA 6 was going to run natively on Switch 2.
No.
Gerudo Valley Cat. I like your name. They say I enjoyed your chat about gaming regrets last week. I was thinking recently about the eShop closures and the rush to buy games that were going to disappear.
True.
Did you panic buy any games at that time? I bought a few that I could have done without, but it also did lead me to buying games I love that are now inaccessible, like Attack of the Friday Monsters.
Nice.
Yes, I did.
I didn't, because both my Wii U and 3DS are hacked, so I just downloaded all that shit.
There you
But
go.
did I rush to do some things to ensure the games I needed? Yes. Yes, I did make sure I was covered before they closed down.
Yeah. People know I do that all the time. Gotta save the Transformers games, baby. Anytime I
I'm
see one
telling
going
you.
away, no.
A hacked Wii U hits different. Like it's kind of a great little
I should
thing.
do it. I should really do it.
You could put GameCube games on it. They launch from the menu. You don't have to go into like any hack cheat bullshit or anything. Like it literally just looks like it's running native the whole time. I love
Really?
it. I absolutely love my Wii. My Wii U is incredible. So,
Is it hard to hack it?
No, I don't think anything that I do is hard to hack.
Wait, well, you're a hacker.
It was a little involved. Like getting games onto it was a thing. I don't know, maybe they've made that better.
I don't think I need to do it. I could just put it on my Steam Deck.
This
You
would
definitely could. I like that everything is very native. I think I put like 60 GameCube games on my Wii U. And
good.
I've got all my Wii U games, all my Virtual Console games. I've got a bunch of Wii titles. It's just a nice little legacy box to have. And I think I do appreciate when it comes to these emulation things. I like that the 3DS and my Wii U, I like that even though they're hacked, like I don't have to like boot different systems and different launchers, and like that kind of takes me out of the experience. Like with some of these like Chinese portables and handhelds and doing it on your phone and stuff, like it takes me out of the experience to have to navigate through that stuff to do it. The fact that I can just turn my Wii U on and launch the game, launch Animal Crossing for GameCube, and it just runs. Even, Rebecca, when I launch it, it even opens up with, like, you remember the Wii U Virtual Console, like, splash screen of, like, the console? Mine does that for GameCube.
Oh,
it's like GameCube.
I like
it
that.
looks legit. So, like,
Yeah.
I like that. I really like that. It makes me feel like it's better than just standard emulation.
I bought, what did I buy? Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks on the Wii U Virtual Console.
Solid.
I think probably some other Virtual Console stuff. I didn't do anything on 3DS. I just hacked my 3DS.
Yeah, same. I think, you know what? I think I bought some themes before it shut down.
3DS themes?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can download those too.
Yeah, I know, but can you download the original ones?
I think so.
Okay, because I know that people do their own.
Maybe.
I know they have
Yeah, I don't
custom
know.
themes, but I didn't know if you could buy the original themes,
I think
especially like with
so.
the music and stuff.
Yeah. Anything, Delvin?
No, I didn't do that at all.
Wow.
Not even a little bit. Just gave up.
King Riley Smiley, question for the show. At the end of 2025, what do you think your favorite Switch 2 game will be? For me, it'll probably be Metroid Prime 4, unless a new 3D Mario or Luigi's Mansion 4 come out in the fall or holiday season.
Can't rule it out.
Can't rule it out.
Be very excited around launch next month. We should get a Nintendo Direct. And I would imagine that next Nintendo Direct will kind of be like, I want to say like the one that people have been waiting on for a while, where we should get like a good peek at the roadmap ahead. I hope. I would think that that's coming. And who knows what that title could be.
I need it to be a 3D Mario coming out in 2025 for
I would
my
like it to
Fantasy
be.
Critic League. I need it. It's not going to be.
Sean showed me Fantasy Critic for the first time. I've never seen it. Not that it's bad. Like, I do generally think it's kind of bad. Like, the programming is not very strong. Like, it looks very old. You know, like, but it doesn't really matter. It's
What
just
do you
in my
mean?
head. In my head, having played fantasy sports for so long. I don't really play them anymore, but I have for 10 years already played.
Oh, you mean like the
fantasy
whole
football
site
and
looks like it's coded in like HTML?
Yeah, like it looks like it's running on Angel Fire or something. It blew
Yeah.
my mind. Sean goes in and he's like, "Clear." I was like, "Wait a minute, is this fantasy?"
It's like
he goes,
a
"Yeah, this is what it is." I'm like,
Table, like
That's not what it is, right?
Basic CSS.
you guys look like you're sharing a Google sheet or something.
Yeah.
With each other.
Yeah.
It blew my mind because in my head I had this very like Yahoo, ESPN sports idea
Yeah.
of what it looked like. It's not that at all.
No, it's not.
Nope.
And I'm glad you laughed because
Angel
I dropped.
Fire is a great way to put
I
it.
said the Angel Fire and
Yeah.
nobody laughed. There was like
Yeah,
6 people.
yeah.
Nobody
I know exactly
responded. I
what
was
you're
like,
talking about. Like,
I must not be amongst friends. like
like
nobody
a
gets
GeoCities
it.
website.
Yes.
Wow.
I thought that was so spot
No, I-
on.
I get
and
you, I get you.
nobody
I
responded.
just
Nobody
looked it up
reacted.
right now. Like, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Those kids don't know what we
I make
did.
my own fun sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I need though.
What do we want it to be?
But as of it stands right now, my 2025 Switch 2 Game of the Year is going to be Mario Kart World.
It's gonna be Breath of the Wild.
Kirby Air Riders.
Breath of the
Yes.
Everybody's Hot Shots Golf.
Wild. Okay. Y'all do you.
Yeah,
I'll
Breath
do
of the
me
Wild. That's what it's
over
gonna be.
here.
She
That's
said, "Okay." We let her
guys-
down so much.
You harassed me for years for not playing this game and liking it. Now I'm,
No,
like, I'm going back in and I'm gonna
I'm
like
super
it.
happy for you.
She's like,
That's a good Game of the Year.
Yes.
mine. I think it was me. Everybody's Hot Shots Golf. She wasn't having.
That's what I was saying at.
Yeah.
That's Donnie. You know, if there's a golf game, Donnie's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm very excited about the underpar golf. Like, I'm
See?
very excited about that. Yeah, I don't know because I don't know because we don't have a whole lot of updates on what the games are. Like, I guess if it makes it out this year, I'm inclined to say Hyrule Warriors.
That's a
I
good
had to
one.
guess.
That's supposed to be this year.
Yeah, it's
That's a
supposed
good
it
one.
should be this year. So I'll say that for now, without knowing what else might be there. Like I kind of wanted to say like Splatoon. Is it too early? When do you think of Splatoon? Next year?
Splatoon's not coming out this year. Next year.
Next year. So yeah, because I'm looking at my game of like the games I want to play this year, like my list. There are not a lot of Switch 2 games on here at the moment.
Wow.
Like,
Because Donkey Kong will come out to next year, right?
I don't think Mario Kart's going to be like my game of the year. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, because you don't like Mario Kart. You hate Mario.
I like Mario Kart. I'm just not
You hate
that
it.
into Mario Kart.
It's not
You
game
hate
of the
it, and
year
you're
yet.
only buying it because you have to.
Correct. It's a good answer. I respect it.
Yeah, I'm not going to undyingly like play Mario Kart for a week. That's definitely going to happen. I'll probably play like a race a day, maybe a few races here and there every day for a while.
Okay.
I'm on that Breath of the Wild gang with Delvin.
Facts.
Here's what I decided, and
We're going to have actual fun.
for those of you who listen, who watch my streams, yes, I haven't streamed in 3 months. However, this is a sneak peek preview. Return of the Forest Minish streams. I have big plans, and one of those things is I'm going to be replaying Breath of the Wild in Spanish. There's reasons for that. People get it.
Well,
They understand. They understand. They get it. The real ones know. And I'm going to do it on stream, and I'm going to try to get 100%. Try to get all the
Zelda
Koroks.
Mamacita.
Yeah.
In Espanol.
So that's
Oye,
going to be one of my
mamacita.
stream games. So there we go.
Muy malo ganan.
And it will be more than just once every 3 months.
Couldn't be
I'm
Donkey
going to be
Kong.
coming back with a vengeance.
Is anybody picking Donkey Kong as their game?
No. I don't even know if I'm going to buy it.
I definitely bought it. I already pre-ordered it.
I don't
Who's
even
a
know if
ball?
I'm going to buy Legends Ah.
Delvin,
What up?
let me throw one at you to maybe change your answer.
Okay.
Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
What is this?
That's the Marvel beat 'em up game we saw. With all the heroes.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that one.
There you go.
That is a great choice. That's
Rebecca?
gonna be fire.
What?
Mouseworks.
Oh yeah, you like tagged me in this. I like looked at it.
Because
I meant
I-
to respond. It
I
looks like
completely
snipper
missed
clips.
it does look like snipper clips, but with mouse controls.
I'm gonna buy it. Is it out?
No, it's not out yet. I
It's
don't
on
think it has a
Switch
date
too?
yet. I don't really see anybody mentioning like I feel like that game got announced and got buried, maybe with all the Switch 2 news.
Mousework.
There is a snipper clips like game called Mousework that you're going to use the mouse controls for. That apparently is coming to Switch 2.
I will buy this and play this with Josh.
It looks
you go.
fun. But I was surprised when I found it. I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
I completely missed it.
This
Oh, yeah, this
looks
is
like the
fun.
best use of the mouse so far. The Joy Mouse.
Yeah, I
Con
looked at
mouse.
this at
Mouse
a
con.
Switch 2 roadmap for now. And yeah, my answer stands. Probably the Hyrule Warriors game.
None of us said Metroid Prime. That's so sad.
I couldn't
Alexa
never
played
right
Despacito.
now say I'm not that into Metroid. So.
Mathman says, what video game world
Mathman.
would you legitimately like to live in? What would be the best one only for a vacation? I will play. I mean, I will be in Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing seems the most safest.
Yes.
The rest of these seem
Yeah,
like
that's
nightmare
true.
fuel.
You just kind of hang out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
I
Like,
would
what's
love to live in that. You don't have to have a job. There's no responsibilities. You get a nice furnished house. If
gotta
you need
get
more
those bells,
furniture,
though.
you just shake
Gotta
a
get the
tree
bill
and it
for Tom
falls
Nook.
out.
Yeah, you still got to get those bells.
You gotta
Okay.
work.
I can just fish all
fishing.
day. I can
That's a
fish. I
job.
can collect bugs.
That's a
I
job.
can do it at my own leisure. He's not
You're a
going to
fisherman
evict me if I don't
exterminator.
pay.
Well, that's
Construction
debatable.
worker.
He
If I
might-
need
he might
furniture, you
evict
just shake a tree or you hit a rock with a shovel.
We need the unhinged Tom Nook game.
Yes.
Where he's like, listen, if you don't have my money by 5 o'clock,
Right.
You got
I
to
wanna-
live in the streets.
what's the worst thing that can happen to you in Animal Crossing?
You get chased by a tarantula and stung by a swarm of bees.
Fuck
Bees.
that.
The
That
bees,
sounds
yeah.
horrible. I want to live in that world where you sell drugs, like that game Donnie was talking about.
Schedule 1.
Schedule One.
Again. I played that again. Like that game's addictive. Let's see here.
What would be the best for only a vacation? Wii Sports Resort.
I just
Yes.
Googled this, and this is crazy. At the top of the list is Horizon.
Horizon what? Zero Dawn?
No thanks.
Fuck no.
Right? Like, absolutely.
It's
Have you
beautiful,
Why?
but you're gonna die immediately.
Get murdered by the damn death machine. The second one is Breath of the Wild. Why?
No, that's also
Just
terrible.
see monsters raining down from the sky and dragons and shit. Like, nope, don't want to do that.
Ooh, I'll vacation in Super Mario Sunshine Delphina Island.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not too bad. Yeah, it's relatively safe.
Number 4 is Pokemon Arceus. Like, again, no.
No.
Not
Pokemon-
Arceus.
in
Arceus is
real
not
world-
the Pokemon game I would want to live in.
Pokemon
Real
are
world.
terrifying. Pokemon-
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Just giant ass dinosaur creature running around breathing fire.
baby dragons and shit.
No, this feels fucking giant turtle with bazookas on his back. No, I don't want to live there.
I was watching Pokemon last night, of all things.
Great show.
I don't know why. It was on Netflix. When I opened Netflix, it popped up. So I was just watching, like, I think I watched like 6 or 7 episodes while I was playing games. I just let it play in the background.
I do that sometimes too.
I have no idea. What world is it?
Here's a giant bomb thread.
None of them.
Pokemon.
They're all awful.
Mass Effect.
Animal
Mass Effect
Crossing
is
feels
like
like a good-
super dependent on what race you are. I would not want to live there if I
I
was
wouldn't
like
want to live there either.
a hated
That's
race.
real world.
That's like the world is at war
Here too. Same
with
thing.
different planets.
Yeah, Pokemon again. There's another Pokemon. This is a different list, and they're also saying Pokemon.
No.
Pokemon wouldn't be bad.
Animal Crossing's a good answer.
Yeah, I think Animal
Animal Crossing is
Crossing's
the
the
answer.
only place I'd want to live forever.
I could Wind Waker.
That
I
might
could
be
Wind
fine.
Waker.
Wind Waker is very dependent on where you live. I would want to live on like Windfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doom.
Absolutely not.
Fucking hell and back.
Where we're going to be for the rest of eternity after we die, Donnie. Don't need to start.
Don't need to get there any sooner.
Don't need to go there sooner than we have to. Finally, our last question comes from Yarden. Enough Switch 2 talk. What are your top 2 most anticipated movies for the rest of the year? And why are they Ballerina and 28 years later?
I don't even know when Ballerina comes out.
I don't know. 2025 movies. The only one that I
sure.
know for sure is Lilo and Stitch. Can't wait to go
Yeah,
see
that does
Lilo
look
and
good.
Stitch.
I don't know if I'll be seeing Ballerina in theaters.
I don't think I will be either.
I'll need like really good reviews, or I'll need more encouragement to give that one
Well,
a try in theaters.
My first one is going to be Him, that Jordan Peele movie.
Okay. Yeah.
That's one. That's one.
What movie is it?
Jordan Peele, Him.
Him? I like
Yes.
Jordan.
It's like a sports horror movie.
Correct.
With
Marlon Wayans.
She said,
I literally was just seeing this trailer. The Long Walk. It's a Stephen King novel. It's like one of my favorite books, and they're making
okay.
a movie called The Long Walk, and it's like from I forget when it came out, but I am so excited for this. So The Long Walk and Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. Him and the Fantastic Four.
sorry.
And
I
those
didn't
are
catch
probably
that.
the only 2 movies I'll see this year. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch a lot of movies, but in theater is different.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh, they're doing live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Why? We already have How to Train Your Dragon. It's quite good. We don't have to keep making these movies live action.
I'm
Oh,
with you
Ballerina
on
is
that.
John Wick. That's why he
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Yeah, it's
I
the
didn't
Wick
know
movie
that.
with what's her name? Armas.
Oh, the girl who was in that movie. Oh,
Yeah.
she's beautiful.
Oh,
I
of
like
course.
her.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did a quick Google search just to see if that wasn't the case, but it is. My 2 movies, probably the only 2 movies I'll go to see in theaters this year, are 28 Years Later, which
That's a
I'll be
great
there
one.
day 1 for.
I'm going to see
And the
that one.
second one will be the F1 movie with Brad Pitt.
Okay, that does look good. I saw a trailer for that. Like, oh, this actually looks good.
And that one is like a that's one that like I need to see in theaters. Like that's an IMAX movie. You're gonna want all the racing, the big sounds, and the big screen and all that.
Brad Pitt and Demetrius Eldred. Is what his name is.
Yeah,
looks really good.
Ooh.
They filmed it with the real cars, like with the real like during an F1 race.
Oh, that's cool.
So like you see if the Ferrari and the Mercedes stuff racing next to them, and it's Lewis Hamilton and shit. Like they're literally racing next to the other guys while they filmed it. So I hope the movie's good. But
looks like it's good.
28 years later, for sure. I think both of those come out in June. So
June might be stacked then.
I didn't realize this, but part 2 of Wicked comes out later this year.
Oh, it does?
That'll be the 3rd movie I see this
Okay,
year.
yeah, I'm seeing that. I loved part 1.
Oh,
and I've never seen
I'm
it.
so glad that you said that, Delvin. It's such a good movie.
I absolutely love part 1.
Thank you. I'm so glad that we share this.
I didn't have the expectation because I didn't know anything about Wicked. I just know
It's so good. It's so good.
I like this is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm hyped for it.
Good.
there's a Superman movie coming out.
There is.
Looks really good.
I didn't even know that.
It has Crypto, the super dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's James Gunn. So it's going to be good. I'm excited for that one too. Cautiously excited.
Yeah, I mean,
James Gunn makes good
ton
stuff.
of movies.
Mm-hmm.
I go to movies
come
like
back.
every other week.
Yeah,
I didn't know there were so many movies.
Just so expensive.
Zootopia 2?
Oh, I didn't know that was
Like,
coming out this
I'll
year.
catch all these when they
I
come
don't
out.
know. It just says 2025. I love Zootopia.
I do want to see Final Destination. I just don't know if I want to see it in theaters.
I'm not seeing that in theaters.
Apparently it's really good though.
Oh, it's really good?
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing that it's like really good.
Okay.
So like that is making me maybe want to see it, but I still don't. I think I'm gonna hold out. You know, I think just last year and a half, 2 years, I think I just went to the movies and I was just like let down too many times. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like
That is
now I'm
also
kind of
very
like
accurate.
I'm like theater reverse. It's like
That was my last year. Like, oh, this is disappointing.
yeah, it's like
Avatar 3, absolutely not.
you spend $70 to go to the movies and you're like,
Yeah.
I could have just watched
Right?
this at home.
Yeah.
Wait, did I tell you guys that I watched the movie Flow? Did I tell you that last week?
Yes, you did. You
Like
told us.
Hustle
about it.
Flow?
My God. I was a
the
wreck.
movie with the cat.
I was a wreck. Oh my God.
That's depressing.
No,
I
it's not
remember
though. It's not
remember.
though. Like I recommend it wholeheartedly. It's not
You
sad.
cried.
I was just in a vulnerable state that day. And then my parents got in a car accident.
Yeah. I remember this very well.
They're doing well.
Riley says flow of tears.
Flow of tears. Anyway, that's our last question for the show.
We made it.
We did it.
Another one down.
Play some video games.
I was going to say the same thing to both of you. I was like, listen to me, guys.
Okay.
Go play some video games this week.
Okay, I'll do it.
Gotta try.
That's my homework.
I'm
Maybe
not
I'll
in the
make up my
space
homework from last week.
for y'all to be relying on me for this right now. So,
Well, I decide because I have a renewed interest in life with my spiritual
There it
witchy
is.
energy.
yeah.
So nothing but positivity and wishing ill will on those who have wronged me from here on out. I
Watch
will
out.
play some video games.
Maybe I need some crystals. Maybe that's what I need to go do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to recharge.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to become a Scarlet
I
Witch.
did a
not?
chakra meditation with Josh yesterday when he was feeling not good, and it renewed his energy.
I like it.
We did a full moon ritual because it was a full moon.
Nice. Well, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there.
Happy
Yes.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to Rebecca's
So,
mom.
I've got a whole day planned of Mother's Day ahead of me. So get
Good.
off of here. Might delay on the output. We'll see.
Okay,
Getting
that's
the
okay.
podcast up.
All right. Take care, everybody. See you next week.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?